Today on the CFL on CBC, the game's most successful coach matches minds with a coaching prodigy. Offense gets the green light in Edmonton. The Eskimos follow in the fleet footsteps of Nealon Green, fresh from his best game of the year. Anchorman Grant Carter has steadied Edmonton's injury-plagued defense. His interception for a touchdown last week helped give the Eskimos the season series against Calgary. Good things come in small packages. Mike Jenkins is cut from the same cloth as the pinball, adding new Argo bounce to the run game. Border Patrol Calvin Tagle roams the line of scrimmage with a nose for the ball. He sealed Hamilton's fate last week with a defensive touchdown of his own. The Argos have newfound chemistry in that season of discontent. The CFL on CBC. Today from the Sky Dome in Toronto, the Edmonton Eskimos meet the Toronto Argonauts in a late season game that has playoff implications for both teams. Good afternoon and welcome to our coverage of the CFL on CBC. Well, the Toronto Argonauts find themselves in a must-win situation today, a situation made more dire by developments out west last night in Winnipeg. This was the scene in the dying seconds. Kahari Jones back to pass. He finds Robert Gordon on a tremendous catch for 37 yards, and it set up this field goal by Troy Westwood to win it. With seconds to play, after blowing a 3-touchdown lead, the Bombers come back to win this one 27-24. And now the Blue Bombers have a 3-point lead over the Argos for the third and final playoff spot in the West. Here's an old Bomber Leatherhead who's all smiles about that one, but what about the Argos situation now?
Well, the biggest thing is Winnipeg has opened up that 3-point cushion right now and legitimately can catch Hamilton for second place. But Toronto can also win right now and maybe move over to the West. So anything can happen, and that's what is great about this time of year.
All right, let's talk about the Argo opponents today, and specifically Nealon Green, the young quarterback who gave us a glimpse last week of his potential.
Well, we know he can throw the ball, but he loves to run, and last week, 11 carries, 140 yards, including this 26-yard scamper that set up the winning field goal by Sean Fleming.
But he also is showing tremendous passing. Look at his percentage, 63.6, 212 last week through the air and 2 touchdowns. So pick your poison when it comes to Nealon Green.
No interceptions.
For sure. Now, on defense, Calvin Tagle will be waiting with open arms for the Argos.
You got to love this guy, the Terminator, Calvin Tagle. Likes to punish guys. The biggest thing is he's got to have one eye on the running back, Michael Jenkins, and another one on Nealon Green. He's going to have his work cut out all day.
It's a big assignment. Now, for the Eskimos, the injury list is shrinking on that battered defense.
You know what? He talked about the fact he's getting his players back healthy at the right time, going to the playoffs. Doug Peterson back last week. One of the premier interior linemen in the CFL. Chris Hardy back today. Still leads the team in interceptions. Can make big things happen at that safety position for Edmonton.
They'll need their strength up the middle because the Argos have their ground game going now.
Well, we talked about this. Tony Battleship Burst right now. They finally have got that physical fullback that they've been looking for all year. And Michael Jenkins, the benefactor, obviously 102 yards rushing against that very stingy Hamilton defense last week.
Hey, first back over 100 against the Hamilton defense this season. And for Kerwin Bell, the quarterback and coach, he's got creative license.
Well, that's the big thing. He's got a little bit of what's called controlled freedom. He takes the tapes, he puts input into what he wants to run against every opponent. You can see he loves to play Edmonton. Last game, 297 yards. 3 touchdowns, and spread the ball out to 6 different receivers. So look for big things from Kerwin today.
All that being said, look into your crystal ball, big guy, and give us your game notes.
Well, I tell you what, this is a CFL. You got a big field. If you're Edmonton, use it. Throw the ball to the left, throw it to the right, go deep. Mix up that Toronto defense. On defense for Edmonton, you can't let the speed run free. You better be jamming these receivers, Brown and Mitchell, off the line of scrimmage. Don't let them get open. For Toronto, it's simple. You know you've got a running game now. Don't bury it if you don't find success early. Keep going after it. And on defense, make Nealon beat you through the air. You know he can take off on the ground, but make him throw the football. Take away one of his weapons.
Stakes are high today in what should be a great football game here at the Sky Dome as we welcome Peter Rutgeiser on the sidelines.
Earlier this season, one Toronto Argonaut that was very frustrated was Daryl Mitchell. When John Heward was here as the head coach, Mitchell wasn't really an integral part of the offense. That all changed, though, when Pinball Clements took over. He had more touches, got more receptions. But in the last 2 games against the Hamilton Ticats, Mitchell has been handcuffed. The Ticats came out with double coverage against him. He had only 6 receptions in those 2 games for 39 yards. And we asked him if he was feeling a little frustrated going into this game.
It's not a point to where I'm frustrated because when teams, you know, double coverage me or try to double coverage me, that isolates our other receivers one-on-one. And in order to get to what we want to get at, we have to get more guys involved offensively. So when teams do that, you know, it also helps our offense because doubling me isolates those guys one-on-one.
So there you have it. Mookie Mitchell more concerned about W's than personal stats. Let's go back upstairs now to Chris and Mark.
Thanks very much, Peter. The Argos won the toss, and they've decided to take the ball right away. Here in the opening few minutes of this football game, Don Matthews with a league record 172 wins. With every victory, he sets a new mark in this league. 19 out of 20 seasons in the playoffs. And Mike Pinball Clemens, the rookie, 4-1 as a head coach with the Argos on the sidelines, taking over after John Heward quit this job at midseason. And he's turned the Argos around, a team whose spirit had been broken by Heward's hard-knock attitude. A young man who lets the players play. Sean Fleming kicking it off, and Daryl Mitchell has it at his own 17-yard line. Mitchell with a move across the 30, then runs into traffic, and not much more. Chris Hardy, coming back after missing 4 games with an ankle injury, makes the tackle on a 57-yard kickoff and a 17-yard return. Kerwin Bell, who has taken control of this Toronto offense, not only as a quarterback, but as an assistant coach, he works the game plan, staying after most of the other players have gone each day.
Well, you can see there's the battlefield, Burse and Mitchell, that receiving crew, Kerwin, Mitchell, Brown, English, a lot of speed out there. And that big offensive line anchored by Jerry King Kong Crafts at the right tackle, Mayor Annunziata, St. John, and Morgan at the left tackle.
First down, Argos. Bell back to pass, looking to the outside. It's complete to Andrew English. And he's hit immediately by Jerome Peterson. Stopped shy of the first down. So a completion on the opening throw of the game from Bell.
Well, that's important. These guys are going to have their work cut out for them. Steve Anderson, Ben Williams, Peterson back in the lineup. Reese, the linebacking crew, defensive player of the week. Carter, Ray, and Mobley on the outside linebackers. And the defensive backs, Chris Hardy back in the lineup, Sean Garrett, Staten at the halfbacks, Peterson and Henry at cornerback.
2nd and 1 Argos. They'll stay on the ground. It's Burse right up the middle, and he's got enough. 3 yards on the game and a Toronto first down.
And that's one of the things about Burse will give you right now. He only carried the ball 6 times for 18 yards last week. But the fact is, critical to have a big guy like this, Mark, in short yardage situations.
He's a big man, and he also brings an attitude, and that's what Mike Clemens likes. He hates losing, and he's a tough, hard-nosed competitor.
Well, he's as valuable on the football field as he is off in that locker room.
So the Argos with their first down on this opening series. Across to the 46-yard line. Bell, play action, back to pass, looking deep down the far sideline. He's got a man just open, and it's overthrown. Tyrone Brown with close coverage on the play from Dwight Henry.
Well, that's what they want to get, one-on-one coverage. They flood the wide side of the football field, get one-on-one coverage with Tyrone Brown and Dwight Henry on a short field. He just does nothing simple but just flat out burn. Go to the end zone. Kerwin Bell tries to catch him, but a little overthrown, but absolutely great coverage by Dwight Henry.
Well, that's what Tyrone Brown was saying yesterday after the pregame practice, that they need to stretch this Edmonton defense so they can get Mookie Mitchell open underneath.
It's the only way you're going to get the middle of the field to open up.
5 receiver set for the Argonauts. 2nd down and 10. Bell back to pass, pressure, gets it away to Mitchell. It's complete, and he's tackled right at the 50-yard line very quickly by Ralph Staten.
Just a nice job. I mean, what you do is you got your receiver that he wants to throw to. Mitchell just sliding across the middle, but Staten right in his back pocket tackling him. And one of the things that's really good about that play is we know what Mitchell can do after he makes the catch.
And so good closing pursuit by Staten, the former Baltimore Raven, holding Mitchell to a gain of about 4.5. Henry Gizmo Williams is the lone man back awaiting this punt by Noel Prefontaine. Gizmo needs just 2 punt returns for 1,000 in his career. Of course, with every return, he sets a new CFL record. On the bounce, one hopper. Gizmo has it at the 15. There's no yards. A flag down immediately as the Gizmo runs into heavy traffic and comes down shy of the 25. It's a 45-yard punt by the leading punter in the CFL and an 8-yard return from the Giz.
Well, they're really happy to have Gizmo back. I mean, they had Terry Vaughn returning punts last week, and they really don't want to risk
Toronto number 6, decline, first down.
You really don't want to risk injuring one of your starters, especially a go-to guy like Terry Vaughn.
And of course, the Giz is in, replacing Troy Mills, who had to leave practice last week in Edmonton because his father was taken into surgery in the United States. First down, Eskimos. Nealon Green scrimmaging inside his own 24-yard line. He'll hand off to Mark Nora. Nora up the gut, and he's dropped immediately by Johnny Scott.
Well, Nora didn't touch the ball last week as Troy Mills was playing a fine job. Gets his hands on the ball early in this game. Nealon Green, Mark Nora, Sean Daniels, the big fullback, the wide receiving crew, Hervey, McCorvey, Terry Vaughn, Nigel Williams on the outside. And a real good, solid offensive line anchored by center Leo Groenwagen, Tim Prince and Cunningham at the tackles, Beaton and Morris.
Second and about 7. 5 receivers set now. Eskimo shotgun formation. Green looking across the middle. It's complete to Ed Hervey, and he's wrapped up by Adrian Smith. And he'll be across the first down marker, and a first down for the Eskimos. Ed Hervey, who had a big game against Toronto back in September 22nd, 7 catches, 131 yards.
Well, I think we're really going to see an offensive display today, Mark. But Ed Hervey does a nice job of knowing where the yard marker is, going beyond that and coming back, making the catch and picking up the first down.
Terry Vaughn said he noticed last week that Green was making his decisions quicker and making the right decisions, unlike a week earlier when they were shellacked by Montreal. Play action, it's handed off to Nora. Good fake, though, by Green as he rolled right, straight up the middle for a handful, a gain of about 4, maybe 5 yards for Nora.
And these guys up front for the defensive line are going to have to watch Nealon Green, Dunbrack, Rogers, Johnny Scott, and Fred Perry, that defensive line. Martavius Houston, the Terminator Tiggle in the middle, and Glenn Young on the outside linebacking position. And a good defensive backfield, Vernon Mitchell, Simmons, Capers at the halfback, Shaw Smith, the cornerbacks.
Argos with the number 3 ranked pass defense in the league. Pass situation, 2nd and 5 for Green. Across the middle, it's complete to Terry Vaughn. He turns and gets across the first down marker.
Just a nice job of reading the zone coverage, finding the hole in the middle. And as you say, Nealon Green sitting back there patiently, good mix of running plays, but sits back there on this passing play and threads the needle and finds Terry Vaughn for a first down.
Vaughn only needs 75 yards for 1,000 this season. The lead receiver, the veteran and the former Calgary Stampeder.
And remember, in that loss to Toronto early in the season, Terry Vaughn did not play.
Exactly. First down shotgun. Green will run. Breaking a tackle outside across the 50, and then he's gang tackled from behind. Johnny Scott jumping on top of the quarterback, and he's very close to the first down marker.
Well, we talked about the play. Nealon Green will call his own number at times right now. Just a quarterback draw. Just going to take it, read the blocking of the offensive line, tuck the ball away, and try and get something positive. He does a nice job of picking up 8 yards on this play.
Well, he had a tremendous game last week. 11 carries, 140 yards, a personal high for Green in that 33-30 victory over Calgary. Second down and 2, Edmonton at the Toronto 50. Green hands off, outstretched to Carr. Carr now stretching for the first down, but I think he's short.
What a great fill by Tyrone Rogers, beating the offensive guard and getting in the backfield and wrapping up the running back short of the first down. Just going to fight right through there, wrap him up, not letting him go anywhere, not even going to let him stretch to the first line. Ty Rogers has really, really progressed this game to another level in the last 3 weeks.
And they will go for it. On third down, Don Matthews gambling here early in the first quarter. Third, and it is a full yard to go. Just across the 50-yard line of the Argos. Twin backfield. Green hands off up the middle to Daniels, and he's stacked up early and comes down very close to the first down marker.
Well, this is one of those where it's always up to where the line judge or the judge right there, the umpire marks the football, and early indications are they're going to give them the first down. And Adrian Smith not happy about that call, feels that he was stopped short, but you're never going to win a decision against the referee.
The Eskimos getting a good spot on that up-the-gut run by Sean Daniels. It's first down at the 47 of the Argonauts. Nealon Green in his second full season of starting at quarterback. The former Argo. Play action in the pocket now. A line on a rope pass to Ed Hervey and complete for another Edmonton first down as Green continues to make good reads in the Argo secondary.
Well, here's a guy that's only thrown 6 interceptions. Yeah, he's known for running the football, but he's throwing it on a rope, as you say. Beautiful spiral. What a nice pattern, though. Ed Hervey getting beyond the marker right there. Adrian Smith has to come up and close, but not before another first down.
Yes, his touchdown to interception ratio is 14-6, one of the best in the CFL, and tremendous for a young sophomore starter. First down. Play action. Green will run with it. It's slow going there, and he's hit hard by Calvin Tiggle as he crossed the 35-yard line. So this will put the young quarterback in a 2nd and long situation.
Well, it's one of those situations you don't want to be in, but I like the call. Misdirection. Give it to Mark Nora. Let him go to the short side of the field, and you keep the ball, hoping the pursuit of the defense will follow Mark Nora, and you'll find a crack on the other side of that defensive line, but they'd have none of it. Tiggle right there, Glenn Young, not being fooled at all, wrapping him up.
So the game was about a yard on the play. 2nd and 9, Edmonton threatening here to score in their first series. Shotgun formation. Green looking across the middle. Coming back to it was Nigel Williams, but he's hit hard by Wayne Shaw, and the ball comes loose.
Nice job of Wayne Shaw coming off the corner, timing it perfectly, just as Nigel Williams goes to catch the football, making contact with Nigel Williams, not allowing him to come up with that catch.
Wayne Shaw played backup last year behind Donald Smith here in Toronto, learning at the heels of the great defensive back who's been injured off and on this year for Hamilton.
Absolutely. He gives a lot of credit to Donald Smith for his development as a player.
Sean Fleming will attempt this field goal from the 41-yard line. His longest, 52 this year. It's down, up, and good. So Sean Fleming puts the Eskimos on the board first here at the Skydome in Toronto as they get a field goal on their first series of the game. Welcome back to the Skydome in Toronto. 3-0 Eskimos here early in the first quarter. Kerwin Bell getting set to go back on offense. He was saying the other day that he was actually leaning towards signing with Calgary as a backup to Dave Dickinson when he was released by Winnipeg, until Pinball Clemens said he could redo the offense and put it to his liking the way he had it in 1998. And on that wristband, he's got his own plays, the plays that he develops during the week with the coaching staff as a coach. He's not just the quarterback.
Absolutely.
He's an assistant coach now.
And he made a comment yesterday I thought was pretty humorous. He said, what's the difference between a coach and a player? He says, I got no days off anymore. He says, I'm in on my days off.
Exactly.
Working on the game plan. But as you say, he has a little bit of controlled freedom right now to call the plays he likes to run.
And when all the other players go home after practice, he stays till 8 or 9 o'clock at night to work on that game plan. First down, Argos at their own 35. Bell handing off to Michael Jenkins. Jenkins scooting, looking for some daylight, and is tackled by Senior Mobley as he crosses the 35 to about the 37-yard line.
Well, nice job by Mobley of wrapping him up, but a real nice job of Ben Williams, 93, breaking in and disrupting the flow of that offensive running game right there, forcing Jenkins to take it back to the outside where the pursuit of Mobley could wrap him up. Just a nice job. You see 93 getting in there right now, forcing him to the outside, disrupting the route.
Eddie Brown is in the game now for burst in a 5-receiver set for the Argos. Bell with time, throwing wide side is too high for Tyrone Brown. Incomplete in a punting situation for the Argos.
We watched them yesterday, Mark, running their patterns. They like to run a lot of what I call like peekaboo routes. They line up behind each other and they'll try to get the defensive secondary confused as to who they should really cover. And it looks like they're getting open. It just looked like on that play that the ball just kind of got away from Kerwin Bell.
This is only the second week in a row that the Argos have had the same starting lineup after a miserable season of moving players in and out and looking for the right combination.
Well, much like Edmonton getting healthy at the right time, for Toronto, it's another plus as well. Continuity.
The Gizmo, the lone Eskimo back. Prefontaine with his second punt of the game. A high spiral to the Gizmo. And with this catch, this will be punt return number 1,000 for the CFL record holder. Gizmo breaks a tackle, shakes another one, finally goes down. Looked like Tony Burse brought him down. A 52-yard punt from Prefontaine and a 7-yard return as the Eskimos get ready to go on offense. Nealon Green 3 for 4 in passing, but the conventional wisdom in the CFL is to stop him from running and make him pass the football. That question was put to Mike Clemens, and he had a little bit of a different answer for the Scribes yesterday.
What do you do to stop Nealon Green? You pray. You pray out loud. You tell all your friends to pray. That's the only way you can stop him.
So Mike Clemens praying that Nealon Green doesn't pick apart his defense today, but already he's 3 for 4 for 31 yards, and he's rushed the ball twice for 11. He's been a one-man band for this Eskimo offense. Handing off this time to Mark Nora, and he's rumbling for a first down right through the heart of that Argo defense.
Well, we're seeing some good movement by the offensive line, creating some holes, and I really like the way Mark Nora is hitting that line of scrimmage full throttle, not sitting there looking for the hole, creating a hole. Just a nice job of going right through it there. Take a look at this wide angle look right now. Give him the ball, hat on a hat. Every offensive line is occupying a defensive lineman. Nobody touches him until he's in the secondary.
And we'll be featuring Mark Nora, the 97 Heck Crichton Trophy winner, at the half. Pass, no, it's a quarterback draw by Green, and it's tough sledding there. Looked like Glenn Young shoestrung him down there with a gain of about maybe 3 or 4 yards.
Well, you got to understand, one of the things that Nealon Green's running does to a defense is it makes your defense play honest. Your ends have to stay outside. You have to contain them. You can't let them get to the outside. You really got to play smart, disciplined, structured defense.
Green likes the quarterback draw, trying to catch the defense in heavy pursuit and then step into a lane. But it's a 2nd and 7 situation for his Eskimo offense. Green in the shotgun, lots of time, throws to the outside. It's complete to Kes McCorby. He makes a move and gets to center field for an Eskimo first down. Kes McCorby, who Don Matthews said yesterday runs the best pass routes of any slot back he's ever seen in the CFL.
Well, that's high praise coming from the master, Don Matthews, especially the number of great ones he's worked with, including Daryl Mitchell. But Kes McCorby, I mean, how do you let a guy like this get so wide open on the sidelines, knowing, you know, that he's got already 12 touchdown passes?
Yes, and he tied an Eskimo record held by Brian Kelly, another great slot back. 4 touchdown catches in week 3. 4 receivers to the right wide side, but instead Green will run with the ball, and he's tackled by Martavius Houston as he crosses the line of scrimmage and forced out of bounds for a short gain.
Well, Martavius Catfish Houston makes the tackle, but the old wily veteran, Leroy Blue, we talked about playing discipline. He does not go inside. He's at the top of your screen. He's just going to stay outside. See him fighting to the outside? As a result, Nealon Green can't just take off. He's got to beat that man first, and that allows Martavius Houston to come over and put the finishing touches on Mr. Green.
Yes, and Leroy Blue, a man who walked out of the Edmonton camp 1 year ago and then walked on here in Toronto at midseason, helped flush the quarterback. 2nd down and 8. Green back to pass. Nice spiral complete to Terry Vaughn. He's hit hard right at the first down marker at the 45-yard line. And he'll be very close to an Eskimo first down.
Well, that is threading the needle, and that is just absolutely smart route running by Terry Vaughn. The veteran sits in the middle. He finds an opening between Tiggo Glenyoung and Vernon Mitchell. I mean, this is on a roll. Look at that. Now everybody's around him. You see everybody closing on him right now. They tackle him roughly to the ground, but not after he's already caught the football.
It is a first down across the 45. Green passing again, but Ed Hervey made his break and then fell down and couldn't get back in time. The pass was on the money.
It was right on the money, and as you say, Ed Hervey kind of caught his feet in the turf as a result of trying to stop, fell backwards. The ball sailed harmlessly over him, and that's very fortunate for Nealon Green that the defender on that place did not pick it off, Adrian Smith.
You'll see Nealon Green checking his own wristband from time to time, looking at his ready list of plays. He's asked the coaching staff to call his plays for him so that he doesn't have to worry about thinking of a play and then also worry about reading the defense, simplifying the offense. It's a bad snap low. It's picked up by Green. He'll pass, though, and it's off the turf. Is it ruled a complete pass? The Argos say it hit the ground. McCorby's got it in his hands at the 35, and there are flags on the play.
Well, they're going to call rough play or offside against Toronto. We saw Nealon Green kind of take a hit at the end of that throw, but it all started off with a bad snap from Leo Groenewegen, and The natural athleticism of Nealon Green saved that play.
They're still marking the spot where McCorvey apparently caught the ball. As Jake Ireland explains the options to the quarterback, Nealon Green,
who's looking very sharp early in this football
Outside,
game.
Toronto number 89, decline, third down.
and so Leroy Blue was guilty of being offside for the Argos, but the catch will stand, and they're inches short on third down. Don Matthews with his second third down gamble of the game as the Eskimo offense continues to move the ball against Toronto. Third and inches at the 35 of the Argos. Nealon Green will sneak the ball, and he'll have the first down as Calvin Tiggle came spearing over the top.
Oh, he's going to come over. You know, he wants to hurt you. I told you that before. The quarterback, Nealon Green, does a smart job. This is why if you're a quarterback, you don't stand up straight when you get behind the big hoggies. You get your head down, you tuck it in their backside almost like a rugby scrum, and you just keep going forward and keep your legs driving. If you stand up, you allow a guy like Terminator Tiggle to take your head off and knock you short of the first down marker.
Chris Morris and this big Eskimo offensive line continuing to move the ball. First down, Edmonton at the 34 of the Argos. Green showing handoff. It's play action. Good fake going down the middle. Ed Hervey's wide open. Touchdown, Edmonton Eskimos. What a tremendous fake. Ed Hervey with his second touchdown catch of the season. A 34-yard pass and run. And they'll celebrate in the Argo end zone as celebrations become the order of the day in the CFL.
Well, you can see who's got rhythm and who doesn't. We saw it yesterday in Winnipeg. Everybody around the league now trying to be more creative than the other team after they score a touchdown, but just a breakdown totally in the coverage of the Toronto secondary, allowing him to come so wide open. Ed Hervey is nobody around 20 yards of him. It's just like a practice throw and catch.
Sean Fleming with the point after, and the Eskimos on their first two offensive drives of this football game have 10 points to show for it. There's Ed Hervey, who left last week's game with Calgary with a rib injury.
Showing everybody today exactly what the Eskimos are about. We're playing our game. We're not worried about nobody else. We're not worried about nobody else.
A positive statement about this Eskimo team, but he's showing no signs of wear here. Coming back with a tremendous 34-yard touchdown catch. And here's a look at the drive.
Well, let me tell you, a lot of things happen in this drive. I mean, we see short yardage, little running, play action, and of course, big time, wide open, runs a little corner out. The safety gets fooled by the other receiver, goes to the short side, and nobody goes to the wide side. Ed Hervey is wide open to haul in that pass and put Edmonton up 10-0.
A 9-play drive that covered 82 yards and ate up nearly 5 minutes of the clock. And that's it for one quarter of football. 10-0 Edmonton.
Well, this doesn't even look like the same team we saw in Montreal a couple of weeks ago. They were very flat, offensively unimaginative. Take a look at the first quarter, Mark. You can see right now, obviously, the first down's 9-1 in favor of Edmonton right now. But look at this. I mean, if you got the clock, usually you're going to win the game. 11 minutes right there. I mean, to 3:53.
Two drives of 9 and 10 yards to eat up the clock. It's Tyrone Brown across his own 15-yard line, gets a block, tries to get outside of Mobley. Chris Hardy has him hemmed in, and out of bounds he goes. Good coverage on the kickoff, a 65-yard boot from Prefontaine, or rather Fleming, and a 17-yard return. The Argos go on offense. Mike Clemens on the headset talking to his spotters upstairs. He said yesterday that he is a big believer in the running game. Made this statement: the running game is not an idea, it's a commitment. Well, we'll see right now how committed the Argos are to the running game. They still have 3 quarters to go in the game. There's John Eason, the offensive coordinator, on the left, and Christopher Hadley, the defensive backfield coach, over to the right. Eason coming in, helping Kerwin Bell with his play selection. Tony Burst, the lead blocker. The Argos cannot afford to abandon the run game, being down 10 points. But right now they'll go to the air on first down. Play action is complete to Andre Kerwin with a head of speed, breaks a tackle, and still going. Finally knocked out of bounds. I think the Eskimos were looking run, and they got fooled in the play action.
Just a hard cross the middle right there, getting one-on-one coverage from Terry Ray, who picks him up. But one of the things that happens is Terry Ray now becomes in the back. He's in the back hip pocket. He gets the football. You see him slide right across the middle right there. Put it to him. They give it to Andre Kerwin. He catches the football. You see Terry Ray trying to chase him around, but not until a big gain by Andre Kerwin.
38 yards by the Stanford graduate who wants to be a doctor someday. Handoff up the middle. It's Michael Jenkins hitting that track hard. A gain of 8, maybe 9 yards on the play. Doug Peterson was saying yesterday that Jenkins is one of the few backs he's seen in the league who's not afraid to hit a crack, not waiting for the big hole.
Well, absolutely. But also, let's talk that offensive line. This is a unit that's finally playing together for a number of games. But as you say, he's hitting the hole. He's not looking for the hole, much like Mark Nora did in his first running play for the Edmonton Eskimos. Get going, son. Get north and south.
A total of 13 players have been on this Argo offensive line this year. It's been musical chairs, injuries, juggling, looking for the right man, and there's the cast.
Well, it's a huge cast. I mean, they're really happy. They were always looking to find the pieces of the puzzle, and I think they found it right now.
Handoff, Jenkins on a 2nd and 1 situation, and he's hit hard right at the line of scrimmage. Albert Reese, the big man on the end, made the tackle.
Well, they've got some big guys in there. I mean, Reese is 6'6", 285, Stalling 6'7", 270. These aren't no small people in there. And of course, you got Ben Williams, 93, 6'2", 300+ pounds.
He's short. The Argos are. It's 3rd down and 1. The ball at the Edmonton 35, and they will go for it. First in the backfield, motion left, handoff to Jenkins around the outside. He's got the first down and more. A big gain and some tremendous blocks on the outside. Tyrone Brown in there helping to set free Michael Jenkins on a 12-yard carry.
You know what? That's a gutsy call. Everybody in the house expects Michael Jenkins to take it inside the tackles. He takes it dangerously to the outside. But remember, Edmonton's defense is lining everybody inside the tackle box. Nice job of Michael Jenkins. Nice call playing by Kerwin Bell. Michael Jenkins, the last 4 games, obviously a big factor in the success of the Toronto offense.
Getting more carries because, of course, Ryan Terry injured. Here's play action now. Back to pass. Bell looking into the end zone. It's intercepted. Ralph Staten has the ball for the Eskimos, stopping a promising-looking drive for Toronto at the goal line. Kerwin Bell picked off by Staten, and the Eskimos take over as they celebrate deep. Mitchell, the intended receiver, but he doesn't get it this time. Back in Toronto, where Ralph Staten is getting some equipment adjustments on the Eskimo bench after making his 4th interception of the season to tie the lead in that department for the Eskimos.
With Chris Hardy, and I mean, it's just a play action and freezes him momentarily. But Kerwin Bell will tell you himself, he's got to get more arc on that football. The ball is thrown too flat, and it allows Staten to come over and make a key interception.
Staten coming down in his end zone, so they'll start on their 25-yard line. Play action pass. It's a quarterback draw. Green calling his own number, but the Argos close quickly. It's Calvin Tiggle making the tackle for Toronto. The gain is a couple. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Well, that's the thing. That's his 6th carry already today for Nealon Green. I mean, he's going to do this. We talked about Calvin the Terminator Tiggle having to be there and having to keep an eye on Nealon Green, responsible for him. And it is no easy task, folks, but Calvin Tiggle does a nice job of wrapping him up there after a 2-yard gain.
Tiggle leading the Argos with 65 tackles coming into this game. 2nd and 8 situation for Green in the shotgun formation. 6 receivers set now. Green, with time, he'll roll right. Lots of room to run, and he'll take off. Green diving to the 35-yard line, and the first down marker very close to that first down.
And he just hits 2nd gear and flies to that marker, goes down, doesn't allow anybody on the Argonauts to get a good shot at him. Goes down much like a guy sliding into second base, albeit head first, but picks up what he has to do to keep the chains moving. No pressure. They wash that offensive line, washes the defense inside, and he just smells the first down marker and gets there and keeps his drive alive.
And it is indeed a first down, Edmonton, at their own 35-yard line. Nealon Green staying in the shotgun formation. He'll play action now and pass. It's complete to McCorvey, who fumbles the ball out of bounds. Houston says it's incomplete, but I think McCorvey had it, and they are marking it as a completion at the 41.
Well, one of the things that Martavius Houston gives you, Mark, is the ability to cover your best receiver out of the backfield. And a little bit of argument about the call going on right now. Just a little play action right there. Frees the defense, allows Nealon to get to the outside. Nice ball to McCorvey, and as you say, not only making the tackle, but absolutely, you see Catfish, he's just trying to strip the football.
2nd down and 4. Green handing off up the middle. Mark Nora with a nice move, and he's got room. Nora across center field with a straight arm, and finally pushed out of bounds by Byron Capers. But he left his calling card with the Argo DB, and now Doug Peterson having words with Capers on the Eskimo bench as tempers begin to flare.
Well, tempers are always going to flare this time of year, Mark, and that's because every game, you know, has the potential to defeat or add to your playoff promise. But nice job of the offensive line to open up a hole right there.
Look at the block by McCorvey here.
McCorvey, 85 in the bottom of your screen, just gets enough of Martavius Houston to allow Mark Nora to get to the outside, and he does the rest.
And look at Nora change hands with the ball to protect it on the outside. Here's Green pumping, looking down the middle. It's complete. Ricky Walters has the ball at the 40 for Edmonton with close coverage.
And all day to throw this football. You know what? If you're an offensive lineman, you're loving the game that Nealon Green is calling right now. Just by the fact that he's running the ball himself, handing it off to Nora, he's freezing that defensive line. They're not sure if they should take a chance and maybe gamble on something because they might get burned.
2nd down and 5. Another long drive here for Edmonton now at the Argo 40-yard line, eating up the clock here as they did in the first quarter. Green passing, it's complete to McCorvey again, diving for another 1st down. Kez McCorvey, who was the 2nd leading receiver at Florida State, but last year was found on the scrap heap coaching high school football by Paul Jones.
Well, Paul Jones is an incredible story in himself. If we had an hour, we'd tell you about Paul Jones. He worked for Winnipeg. He beats the bushes and finds guys that are stars in the most unlikeliest of places. And as you say, finds McCorvey coaching football and says, hey, feel like strapping him on again.
Corby, 3 years as a backup in Detroit in the NFL. Don Matthews says he can't believe he's not in the NFL right now, but happy to have him for Edmonton. Play action, no, he'll run. Green now looking for space, turning, he's surrounded, and then just dives back to the line of scrimmage with no place to go on what looked like another quarterback draw.
Well, he's done this a number of times today, and you know what, remember, he's calling this play. You know what, when you look at Nealon Green, you look at his arm pad, he's got plays, but he's also got audibles. He's got checkoffs that you can look at. He's just going to take it. It's an open backfield right now. It looks like he's dropping. He actually pump fakes, but look at the hole there. I mean, he can take off there, decides to go to the outside, nothing there, and at the end does a little bit of a frog jump to pick up anything he possibly can.
And that was 0 as they get back to the line of scrimmage, but look at the time of possession. The Eskimos keeping the Argo defense on the field and the Argo offense off. Green back to pass, 2nd and 10, sidestep the rush, will throw, wide open McCorvey with a straight arm to Adrian Smith and another 1st down.
Another 1st down, but you tell me if Adrian Smith does not respect the speed of Kez McCorvey, because right there, he is so worried about him being beat deep that he's playing 6 yards off McCorvey. Yeah, Nealon Green is doing a little bit of scramble right now. He avoids the rush. But when he throws this ball to McCorvey, there's nobody around him. There you see Adrian Smith come up late to wrap him up, but again, not before. Edmonton has got another 1st down.
Push Smith back, running what looked like a post, came back for a 17-yard gain on the catch. Hervey now out with Smith. 1st down, handoff Mark Nora up the middle again, a big move, puts his head down and crashes across the 5-yard line, and the Eskimos threatening again.
Well, that big left side of Edmonton, Groenewegen, Princeton, and Beaton are just doing a nice job of opening up holes and allowing Mark Nora to do the rest. Give him a seam. This is a big man who used to run track at UBC. I mean, he can flat out fly.
Averaging 10 yards a carry, 8 on that one. And it'll be 2nd and 2, Edmonton on the Toronto 5-yard line. 3 times this season, Nora has been over 100 yards, his best 170 against BC. 2nd and 2, Edmonton. Green, play action, gets outside, beats Young, now will throw wide open, Terry Vaughn, touchdown, Eskimos. tremendous athletic ability by Nealon Green to beat the contain of Glenn Young and then find Vaughn wide open.
Well, we've seen 2 touchdown dances. The first one was a skipping rope. This one's photo shoot. They're doing a good job of trying to come up with new things, and I tell you what, the way that Nealon Green is orchestrating this offense, they could be in the end zone more times. He fools everybody with that play action. Everybody goes with Nora. Nobody goes. They lose contain. The one thing you cannot do is allow yourself to let Nealon Green get to the outside, and he does, and he makes him pay for it.
Sean Fleming with the convert. And with 5:51 to go until the half, it's Edmonton 17, the Argos nothing, as Nealon Green hooks up with Terry Vaughn.
Well, a happy bench right there. Terry Vaughn with his 5th touchdown. All you're going to do is get a little play action pass. You're going to fake it and come to the outside. As we roll it, everybody on Toronto's defense is fooled. He just keeps it, makes a move right there on Glenn Young, and then it's just pitch and toss.
Look how the defensive backs broke off their coverage because they thought he was going to run, Chris.
That is what the danger of Nealon Green's legs running the ball will give you.
Green with 16 touchdown passes on the season, 2 here today. Tyrone Brown returning the kick. It's a throwback to Daryl Mitchell. Mitchell trying to get outside across the 20 and going. He's got a block and finally hauled down. Senior Mobley makes the tackle, but there's a flag on the play, a 67-yard kickoff by Sean Fleming, and a 30-yard return on that long lateral to Daryl Mitchell.
Mark, we used this play a long time ago in Ottawa and won a football game on it. Toronto goes into the old trick book and does a little pass lateral, throws it across the other side of the field to Daryl Mitchell, but you got to give credit.
Block. Toronto number 22, 1st down.
You got to give it credit. Special teams, coached by Hugh Campbell's kid, does a nice job of telling the guys, stay in your lanes, and they do a fine job of that and don't allow themselves to get burned.
Welcome back to Skydome. The Edmonton Eskimos leading this one in the 2nd quarter, 17-0. Next Toronto and Argonaut home game will be October the 27th. They take on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. That could be a very big game. 7:30 Eastern time. For tickets, call 416-872-5000.
Well, Peter, if the Argos should come back and win here today, that would be for 3rd place. They would be 1 point behind the 3rd place Blue Bombers. First down, Argos. Bell backpedaling across the middle, in and out of the hands of Daryl Mitchell. It was right on the money, and Chris Hardy makes the tackle. But Kerwin Bell now 3 of 7 for 50 yards and 1 interception. The man who Mike Pinball Clemens calls the best pure passer in the game is having trouble early.
Well, I mean, you can't really fault Kerwin Bell on that play. I mean, the ball, as you say, right on the money. And Mr. Dependable, you don't see Daryl Mitchell drop many. Comes across on his patented over the middle route. Ball right in his hands, just can't squeeze the football.
Right. 2nd and 10. Argos on their own 12. A tough situation here. Shotgun, they'll pass. Bell looking across the middle again. It's overthrown and nearly intercepted by Hardy. Diving at the 35, but there was not an Argo receiver in the neighborhood.
Well, I mean, it's a frustration thing for Kerwin Bell. He throws the ball on a rope the first play. Daryl Mitchell drops the ball. This time, as you say, sits back. Edmonton's defensive line running a little bit of a twist. Grant Carter coming in there. Ben Williams putting a little pressure on Kerwin Bell. He floats the football up over coverage, and as a result, Noel Prefontaine has got a punt from his end zone.
So Bell's first pass since the interception on the goal line, perhaps a little tentative, and it's a punting situation. The pinball, the lone man back for Edmonton, awaiting this punt from Noel Prefontaine, standing 5 yards deep in his own end zone. Leading punter in the CFL, an average of 48.1 yards a kick. Ball's away, a driving spy roll, and the Gizmo has it at his own 47. The Gizmo gets a break, breaks another tackle. He might be gone! One man back, it's the kicker, Prefontaine. Gizmo going wide right, tries to break the tackle, and Prefontaine brings him down at the 5-yard line. Gizmo Williams, who leads the CFL with 26 punt return touchdowns, is 5 yards short of his 27th on a 58-yard return.
Well, that's why you want this guy back there, because every time he touches the football, he has the potential to take it all the way. Does a nice job. Look at the cut. Comes back. I mean, he's not taller than a fire hydrant, but he gets going, and he's got great legs. We don't know his age. We're going to have to do some carbon dating on him. but great job of getting in the open and fighting. You can see he's trying to fight to get to that end zone, Mark.
As they say, someday an archaeologist will have to dig up Williams a million years from now, do the carbon dating to really find out how old he is. He seems to be wishing at the fountain of youth every year. A huge return, and it's first and goal Edmonton at the 5 of Toronto. Green in the shotgun, handing off to Nora up the middle, and little or no gain on the play, as he's stopped immediately by an impermeable Argo defensive line at the goal line.
Well, nice job of handing it off there, allowing the big boys to go.
The Giz got on the roster only because Troy Mills had to leave to go home to see his ailing father.
You know what he said yesterday that I thought was really interesting, Mark? He said, we got guys that are getting healthy right now, and the competition to make this football, it's like being in training camp, he said.
Is turning back the hands of time there with a beauty to the 5-yard line. Second and goal, Edmonton. Green to pass. Time throwing to the corner. It's up and it's complete. Kes McCorvey has another Edmonton touchdown, and Green has 3 touchdown passes in the first half alone. McCorvey running the out pattern on Martavius Houston and makes a beautiful catch.
Well, we talked about this yesterday, you know, in the pregame, the fact that these guys are saying that one-on-one, nobody can cover Kes McCorvey. And I mean, he's going against a pretty good guy in coverage in Martavius Houston, but he just turns him, gets to that corner of the end zone, makes a nice catch, and as you say, I mean, Edmonton is firing on all cylinders right now.
Yes, McCorvey with his 13th touchdown reception of the season. The point after from Sean Fleming is good, and this one is getting away from the Argos, as McCorvey drives the score up to 24-0. Eskimos leading the Argonauts here with 3:09 to go in the first half. 17 touchdown passes on the season now for Nealon Green, the young man who cuts hair for free in the Eskimo locker room, the barber of Seville.
So tell me that. I can really use him, can't I, Mark? I mean,
You could use a
why
few.
don't you give me some more depressing news? I find a guy that gets free haircuts. I don't need a haircut.
And the pinball, of course, with great expectations of this club coming in after 2 straight wins over Hamilton, and the offense has gone cold.
Well, the offense, but we also talked about, you know, there's that third part of the game, and that's special teams, and they got beat on that play by Henry the Giz Williams.
The Giz setting up this scoring drive. Just 2 plays. Here's the return from the Gizmo. Breaking some tackles. Gets into the open field, and Prefontaine, the best open field tackler among punters in the league, finally brings him down on the 5-yard line. Green back to pass, and it's complete to McCorvey after the no gain. The handoff to Mark Nora, and it's 24-0 Edmonton. Kickoff from Fleming. Deep taken at the 6 by Daryl Mitchell. Mitchell trying to get outside. The Argos have a wall. Squeaking past Chris Hardy and forced out of bounds. But Nealon Green has the green light in Edmonton today. Welcome back to the Skydome. Well, bad news for the Eskimos as Kes McCorvey has been taken off right now to the Eskimo locker room after injuring himself on this touchdown catch.
Well, you see him just go down. He comes down hard on the elbow. He gets up, but it doesn't look like he's in any discomfort right there. But sometimes, you know, the elation of scoring a touchdown will overcome what the reality of an injury. And I think when he went back to the bench, he realized he was a little bit more pain or discomfort than he thought.
Houston putting a lick on him, and this field is awfully hard. Handoff, Michael Jenkins up the middle, breaks some tackles and more. A first down across center field. He's broken 3 tackles and finally dragged down by Ralph Staten of the Eskimos.
Well, if you want to talk about the phrase, to paraphrase Mike Pinball Clemens, who said it's a commitment, not an idea to run the football. We will not give up on it. Being even down 24 points, they still hand off the football. Michael Jenkins, nice job by the offensive line. And, you know, Michael Jenkins breaks tackles. This guy can break and make people miss him.
Gained 30 yards up the middle for Michael Jenkins, who reminds a lot of people of a young Pinball Clemens. First down Argos, play action now. Bell with lots of time, throwing, and he overthrows Daryl Mitchell, almost trying to toss it like a dart, placing the ball instead of firing it away. It's incomplete.
Well, absolutely, but you see, he took a play out of Nealon Green's book, and the fact that they had a great run by Jenkins, then come back with the play action, freeze the defense, allow Kerwin to get outside, and as you say, he tries to touch pass the ball to Mitchell, and unfortunately, it's not successful.
No excuse for that, Chris. Wide open receiver and overthrown. A pass that was little more than 10 to 15 yards. Second down and 10. Bell in the shotgun, passing situation. Eskimos know it. There's a flag. Quick jump on the line. Bell across the middle. Mitchell wide open. He's got it. And Hardy jumps on his back as he crosses the 25-yard line, but flags are down. And this might be coming back. The gain is 25 by Daryl Mitchell.
It might be a little procedure call, but they're going to call.
It's offside Toronto, and the indication is it was Mitchell who jumped the gun.
Well, remember, one of those slot backs, they can hit the line of scrimmage on the run.
Toronto number 87. Repeat, second down.
Good call, Mark, and that's what happens. A lot of times the slot backs will try and anticipate the count. So as they hit the line of scrimmage, the ball is being snapped, and it gives them an advantage over the cover or the secondary right there. And he made a big play, unfortunately a little too quick to get in the open.
Our spotter Rob Crefo with the eye on that one, your former teammate in Winnipeg, catching Mookie, jumping the gun and nullifying a 25-yard catch. It'll be second now and 15 on the outside. Bell in the shotgun, nobody back, 6 receivers set, lots of time, throws it outside. Jenkins breaks a tackle of Gray, then he's hit hard. Oh my goodness, A.J. Gass came in and just speared Jenkins as he was being held up. But he'll be short of the first down by about 6 or 7 yards.
You got to like this little guy. Michael Jenkins gets out there, as you say. The ball's over there. He just kind of drops it off to his, the receiver right there. Michael Jenkins does a little 360 here. All the way around right there out of Terry Ray. Terry Ray holds on, as you say. A.J. Gass, number 77, with the finishing touches. Nice shoulder right into the back of Mitchell.
Third down and about 6, and the Argos will go for it. They're scoreless here in the opening half. Shotgun. Here comes the blitz. He's hit hard as Bell gets rid of the ball. It's incomplete. Senior Mobley coming off the edge and drilling Kerwin Bell.
Well, this is just not good communication. When we come back, we're going to take a look at this blitz they did not pick up.
Green back to pass, looking deep. Ed Hervey open with the ball just underthrown as the Eskimos take over on downs, the second turnover of this game for Kerwin Bell and the Argos.
Well, they got to be able to recognize this when they're bringing everybody in the house on the Edmonton defense. I mean, Signor Mobley coming. They're all coming from the outside. Look, he comes untouched. Terry Ray the other side. You see that they don't have enough guys to pick him up. You got to make an adjustment in your route. Let your quarterback know.
Mobley licking his lips after that huge shot on Bell. Rod Harrod is in now for McCorvey. Pass across the middle. Ricky Walters has it, turning backwards to make the catch and running backwards. A first down for the Eskimos.
Well, they are just firing. We talked about how when you catch things and you get the momentum going and you start having a continuity on offense and finding a rhythm, and Nealon Green has got the rhythm right now. Whether he's running the football or throwing the football, he's just hurting this Toronto defense.
Nealon Green now has completed 14 of 16 passes. That's like 85% in this football game. Green play action, rolling outside, throwing downfield, in and out of the hands of Nigel Williams. Incomplete. He should have had it.
Well, most definitely, Mark. And Nealon Green's going to let Nigel Williams know, listen, I had the opportunity to take off myself. I got the corner. I could have ran for the first down. I saw you open. I throw you the football. You better make sure you catch the football. No excuses for that drop there, Mark.
But you are the Hamilton Hurricanes veteran of 6 CFL seasons. With a hard-thrown pass he should have had. The Eskimos have scored, Chris, on all 4 of their possessions in this game. 3 touchdowns and a field goal. And here they are again across center field and into Argo territory. Second down and 10. Green in the shotgun. Blitz, and he's sacked. Tyrone Rogers has the sack, his 3rd of the season. And finally, they get to Nealon Green.
Well, his 3rd sack in the last 3 games. Talked about the fact that they're going to have to run some kind of a scheme up here to get to Nealon Green. They run a little bit of a twist. You see Fred Perry coming back inside right there. Ty Rogers fighting off the blocker, wraps up, and that's what you got to do. Kind of put a little bit of a mass confusion in front of the eyes of Nealon Green. Distort him a little bit if you would. And on that play, do a good job of it. And as you say, Ty Rogers comes and wraps him up for his 3rd sack of the season.
Loss of 3 yards on the play. First time we've seen Green confused when trying to pass here this afternoon. This is the first punt of the game for Sean Fleming, as this Eskimo offense is stalled for the first time in this football game. Adrian Smith is the lone Argo back. Fleming standing on his 41-yard line, running the clock down. 5 seconds forward, and the ball's away. High spiral from Fleming. Smith has it inside the 5-yard restraining zone with Jerome Peterson. Flags are down. Smith goes nowhere, but the Argos will benefit on this call. No yards against the Eskimos. Wally Highsmith talking to his defensive line. They must feel like they've played an entire game in the first half.
Once they tell you he's gone. So you got
the Eskimo offense on the field, dominating the play clock. Here's Jenkins breaking a tackle, running over top of Terry Ray, and finally being tracked down on the 40-yard line. Gain of about 7 yards on the play. Coming up on the halftime, of course, Mark Nora, the Heck Crichton Trophy winner from 1997 in UBC, and a top Canadian prospect this year in the CFL. We'll hear from him. The big man will have his pro tip featuring Adrian Smith this week, and we'll have first half highlights, and so far it's been all Edmonton. Pass complete to Jenkins. He's hit hard and stopped just short, it looks like, of the first down. Dwight Henry making the tackle, the second-year man, obtained in a trade with Montreal in late September.
A nice job, Dwight Henry, almost baiting Kerwin Bell to throw the underneath pass to Mitchell, and tackling him short.
That's an old tactic of the Alouette defenders. They love to do that, lie in the weeds and then jump out and make the pick. And of course, Henry learning from them last year in Montreal. We'll have to measure this one, Chris.
That's smart defense. It really is smart. Toronto's got to obviously go with it, with the score being as it is. But if you're Edmonton, you're laying back. You're going to give Kerwin a little bit of pressure up front, but you're going to let him see an open man. First instinct of a quarterback, obviously, maybe throw it. A little hurried, little rush. He hasn't got that confidence right now, the rhythm that Nealon Green has.
32 seconds to go until the half. And it'll be 3rd down and inches. The Argos going for it here, trailing 24-0. The Argos have spread 6 receivers, 3 to the wide, 3 to the short side, and Bell will sneak the ball into a pile of humanity, and looks like he'll have it, Chris. Yes, he will. So a first down for the Argos with 26 seconds left on the clock, hoping perhaps to get close enough for a field goal and get something on the board before the half.
Absolutely. Get something positive going into the locker room. Get with your group coaches, your positional coaches, then get together as an offense and a defense and make the adjustments you have to make.
First down, Argos. Bell back to pass. Here's the blitz. And he's sacked again. It's Mobley again on the outside. And down goes Kerwin Bell, who's turning into a human piñata.
Well, the thing is, this is the second time. The first time they actually lined up Mobley outside. This time they bring him from his linebacker position. He's got great speed. He's not picked up again. It's one of those things now, too many men, and you got to get rid of the football.
2nd and 18. Here comes the blitz again. Pass is complete to Eddie Brown, making his first catch of the game, but just across the original line of scrimmage. 5 seconds to go in the half. Eddie Brown, who came back to this team in midseason, leaving his name and number with Pinball Clements the same week he took over from John Heward.
Well, that's one of the things, Mark. Edmonton is playing so well on offense, and when you have a lead, it allows your defense to play a little bit more games, and they're doing a great job of disguising what they're doing against Kerwin Bell. Twice we've seen Mobley come from the outside. Once they bring the other side linebacker, the strong side linebacker, the wide side, if you would, Terry Ray. But they're bringing them from all sides right now, and they're not being picked up. If you don't pick them up, or if you don't get rid of the football quickly, you know you're going to be in the hurt bag.
And that has been a problem for Kerwin Bell, because we know he holds on to the ball very long looking for a receiver. and he pays the price. And so with 5 seconds to go, a chance for a Hail Mary here in the first half of the Argos. A half that has been all Edmonton, as the sophomore starter, Nealon Green, has upstaged the veteran, Kerwin Bell. Bell in the shotgun, back, stepping up into the rush, throwing deep downfield. 3 receivers in the neighborhood. It's intercepted. Jerome Peterson has the ball for the Eskimos. And the Hail Mary backfires as Kerwin Bell throws his second interception of the first half. And the Argos go to the locker room scoreless, trailing the visiting Edmonton Eskimos 24-0. So Jerome Peterson with his first interception as a CFL player, the rookie of the Northern Iowa, as we go down to the sidelines. And here's Peter with the head coach from Edmonton.
Don Matthews got to be happy with that first half. Kes McCorvey, Nealon Green, 2 of your big guns coming up big for you in that first half.
Yeah, Nealon really had a very controlled, very good first half. Of course, Kes is going to be Kes, and he makes a lot of plays. But our defense came up big. Putting a 0 on the board was huge for us.
Also, Gizmo Williams, you know, this guy's a veteran, comes up with a big play. It looks like a rookie out there, the way he's playing.
Well, he's loving it. You know, he's had a few weeks off. He's got fresh legs, so I hope he'll get down the field with him.
Best of luck in the second half, Coach.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. So at the half, it's 24-0 for the Edmonton Eskimos here at Skydome. Kes McCorvey, Nealon Green doing most of the damage here. We'll be back with more of the CFL on CBC right after these messages. Welcome back to Skydome, where the Edmonton Eskimos dominated that first half by a count of 24-0. You know, they say at times you have to be in the right place at the right time, and nobody knows that better than Edmonton Eskimo tailback Mark Nora. The Edmonton Eskimos have had all kinds of injuries this year. Nora was given a chance to start, and he's having the best year of his career. Let's take this look now at UBC product, Mark Nora.
2nd and 5. Nora left side, big hole. Mark Nora down to the 10 and dragged down at the 6.
The key to being a good running back is to being consistent. When you get those good games and you get those big games, it's hard to explain. Things just end up rolling your way. You get in a roll. The O-line is doing great. You know, the quarterback is opening things up for you, and you're just following their lead. So, I mean, those things are important to me. But to really, my real goal is to be consistent every game. Like, I watch Mike Pringle, and game after game he gets 100 yards. You know, even if he has a bad game, it's 80 yards, and he's doing everything he can to fight for every inch. So that's my goal. But I mean, the good games feel great and give you confidence. When I have the ball in my hands and I have the opportunity to run someone over cleanly, that feeling takes me, gratifies me a lot more than just juking a guy. And you know, I find myself sometimes trying to make a guy miss, and he trips me up by the legs, and I just say, damn. You know, if I could only just run him over, you know, I would have been a lot happier than some guy, you know, tying up my ankles and I'm going down. So, yeah, definitely when you get to punish someone, it makes them think twice next time you come around the corner. All I think about when my number's called is I'm going to be looking at the guard or the center or whatever my read is, and just go. The O-line here at Eskimos, they're really athletes. They work hard. They run after every ball. They work hard in the gym. They work hard in the field. They go 100 miles an hour every play, and I mean, they're all veterans. So, you know, as a younger player, I look as I don't want to let them down. I mean, they've been in this league and they've accomplished many things, and I know that they're going to get their block. So all I'm really concentrating on is just trying to follow, you know, what they're giving me and make them proud. Playing football is absolutely the best thing about being me right now. I mean, I've been playing it all my life. I've been playing sports all my life. I couldn't see myself doing anything else. To sit, you know, go in an office and sit at a computer. I've never been that much to study in school, so I like to be on the field, and I like to just get the ball and just play.
You're not going to find a nicer young man than Mark Nora. In the first half here, he had 53 yards on 6 carries. He's playing fantastic. At the half, it's Edmonton leading the Toronto Argonauts by a count of 24-0. We'll be back with more of the CFL on CBC right after these messages.
Pro Tips with Chris Waldy. Brought to you by Dodge.
Hey, welcome to Pro Tips. The defensive backfield. The last line of defense in, of course, the defense. With me today, all-star cornerback Adrian Smith to talk about another aspect of the defense, the blitz.
Not only does the defensive back have to cover the receivers on the field, but another key aspect of the game is the blitz. And what a blitz is one extra man coming off the edge while the offensive line cannot pick it up. So what I'm going to describe is the halfback blitz. I want to give the offense the impression that I'm covering his receiver. And as the receiver comes to the line of scrimmage and the center snaps the ball, I'll be coming off the edge. And as I come off the edge, the safety will pick up my man as I continue to the quarterback. It's my job to get to the quarterback in less than 2 seconds so I can mess up the timing of the quarterback and receiver, or sack the quarterback, or take the ball and score myself.
Hey, that's a great tip. This is just another thing that the offense has to worry about. See you next time.
24-0 Edmonton here at the half. Coming up tonight on Hockey Night in Canada, another doubleheader. The Leafs coming off a 4-1 win in Edmonton are at Calgary to meet the Flames. With more on that, here's a preview from Ron McLean.
Mark, thanks very much. Of course, Hockey Night in Canada this evening based in Calgary and Vancouver. Tomorrow, ironically, at McMahon Stadium. It'll be the Stampeders hosting the BC Lions in CFL play. Well, tonight, Toronto and Calgary, two teams coming off big victories. Calgary against Boston here last night. Edmonton fell 4-1 to the Leafs on Thursday. And both Phoenix and Vancouver are red hot. We'll have that as the second game of the doubleheader. Also, Scott Oak had a chance to sit down with Kevin Stevens about his fall from grace last year and his chance at redemption this season. Patrick Roy and a whole lot more beginning at 4:30 local time in Alberta, 6:30 Eastern. Mark?
Thank you, Ron. That should be good tonight in Calgary, but there's still a half of football to be played here in Toronto today, Chris. And how about Nealon Green and the Eskimos controlling the clock, looking composed, and running up 3 touchdown passes and a 24-0 lead over the Argonauts.
He's had his way, whether he's running the football, whether he's throwing the football. He's like a fine musician right now. I mean, he's strumming it. He's doing it all right. He's playing the good tunes right now. Play action. I mean, he's just finding guys. I mean, the second drive of the game finds Ed Herbie wide open in a breakdown in the Toronto secondary for a 10-0 lead after they had a field goal in the first drive.
Then the Gizmo, who's gone over 1,000 punt returns in a career, has a 58-yard run here to bring the ball all the way to the Argo 5-yard line. It took the punter, Prefontaine, to make the touchdown-saving tackle at the 5, but that put Edmonton in position again, and they scored 3 touchdowns in that first half. The ground game, though, Toronto looked good on occasion.
Well, this is about the only positive we can talk about for Toronto. I mean, their defense has been on the field all the first half. They ran the ball a couple times. Jenkins is the horse right now for Toronto. Kerwin Bell struggling right now.
How about the numbers for Green, completing 14 of 18 passes for 152 yards and 3 touchdowns, adding 28 rushes for good measure. And then look at the veteran, Kerwin Bell, 6 of 14 for only 69, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
Well, I got to tell you something. Nealon Green, we talked about him. We said, you know, he got a wide field, used the whole field. He really has. He's throwing it to the short side, to the wide side, deep, short. He is mixing up his plays right now, running a lot of play action, and they're finding a tremendous amount of success early with it.
We have to wonder what Pinball Clemens is saying in the locker room right now. I've heard that he has speeches that rival Newt Rockney. We'll see what he has coming back for the second half when we return here to the Skydome in Toronto. Welcome back to Toronto on a glorious autumn afternoon here in southern Ontario. Not so glorious for the Argos, though, as they trailed Edmonton 24-0 as we get set to start the third quarter of this football game. Let's go down to the sidelines now, and here's Peter with the Argo head coach.
Mike, you're down 24-0. This is a must-win game for you. What did you say in the locker room to spark the troops?
Well, what I told them, look around at each other and smile at each other. Smile at everybody. I'm proud of every guy in that locker room. We didn't play good football, but we can play good football. We can do it. This is a long football game. We saw the game last night, 21 points scored in the fourth quarter. We've got 2 quarters to make up 24 points. We have to count on each other doing our jobs and not try to overcompensate. Defense has to stop. Offense got to score points. Just that simple.
Hey, good luck, Coach.
Mike Clements, always so positive. And here are the first half numbers, Chris.
Well, I tell you what, you got to be positive, and that's what you can try and get out of your troops. But then you better change this right there. I mean, that's the big thing. Obviously, 3 turnovers by the Argonauts, but we won't even count that Hail Mary interception last play of the half by Kerwin Bell. But 19 minutes to 10 minutes. I mean, if you're keeping control of the football almost twice as long as your opposition, good things are going to happen.
And your game notes? And you appear to be bang on, sir.
We'll work that out in the contract next time.
Well, Prefontaine will get those game notes back up when we have more time to read them. Here's the Gizmo at his own 10, across the 20, gets another block, squirts free. Gizmo still going, finally pulled down. It's Prefontaine, the punter, again in on the tackle with help from Brad Elberg and Glenn Young.
Well, the Giz just gives you great field position. He's such a well-conditioned athlete. And here are those game notes. We talked about the fact it's a big field, 14 receptions, 1 over 20 yards. They haven't let Toronto's offensive receivers hurt them. Only 1 reception over 20. Don't bury the running game. We talked about that. He's still rushing the ball, 8 rushes. I mean, they're 50-50 almost with the throwing. They have ball in the air. And making Nealon beat you through the air. Well, he's doing the job right now, throwing it through the air.
And Kez McCorvey back in the game as he appears to be okay after injuring his arm. Nora with a short gain up the middle, and Calvin Tiggle making the tackle. McCorvey, who went out after his touchdown catch, favoring his arm after being drilled to the very hard playing surface here at the Skydome by Martavius Houston.
And you know, one of the hardest things is if you're Edmonton coming out, you'd think there wouldn't be any negative, but there is. Because you got such a big lead, you've got to regain your focus. You can't go flat right now with this big lead.
Elon Green, after a spectacular first half, picking up where he left off against Calgary. In the shotgun, passing complete to Terry Vaughn right at the first down marker. Another curl pattern coming back underneath the Argo secondary.
Well, he just does this so magnificently right there. Finds Tiggle. Spies number 73 says, I'm not going to stand by you, big man. So he crowds over a little bit in the middle and sits down between him and Vernon Mitchell. Ball as he, again, delivered right on the money by Nealon Green, and they move the ball again.
Tiggle animated in the Argo defense as Nigel Williams comes to the short side of the field. He never goes back in the huddle. Gets the plays relayed out to the far side. Too far to run, apparently. Green back to pass. Lots of time looking. Now there's trouble. Breaks 2 tackles. He's still going. Now he'll run. Green fakes the pass. Protects the ball. And there's a flag on the play. And it looks like there's a late hit from the Argos as Green goes down across center field.
You know what, Mark? I really believe there should be a penalty when you intentionally try to hurt a quarterback. But I also...
Major foul. Piling on, Toronto number 73.
You know what? I disagree with this. I've never liked this rule. I mean, you're out there as an offensive lineman or as a defensive secondary guy. You know, you're doing a hitting, you're contacting. This guy, I mean, they try to wrap him up. Nealon Green breaks a couple of tackles. Then he goes down. Now he's fighting. He's still fighting for yards.
Oh, that's a very bad spear and right into the midsection. Oh, that was dangerous, Chris. That is a cheap play.
Well, I tell you what, quarterbacks, if you don't want to get hit, put a skirt on.
Well, I don't know about getting hit where he got hit.
Does he have any kids yet?
First down, and the yardsticks have been moved to the 38 of the Argos. Here's Green stepping up, passing wide open is Terry Vaughn. Another hook curl route. And another first down for the Edmonton Eskimos as Green continues to pick apart this Argo secondary like a surgeon.
Well, they're not doing anything in the secondary to confuse Nealon Green. They're giving him a steady diet of zone, and Terry Vaughn is having a field day. Whether he's on the short side or the wide side, he's finding the opening between the linebacker and the halfback, settling down, and the ball is on the money. And as you say, this time he's just working against capers.
A lot of the Edmonton routes have been comeback routes, hooks and curls underneath the Toronto secondary. First down, Eskimos at the 24 of the Argos. Nealon Green staying in the air, back to pass. Time stepping up in the pocket, throwing it. It's knocked out of the hands of Nigel Williams. It hit him in the numbers, but Wayne Shaw was draped over him like a blanket.
And, you know, that's the second time they've tried to go after Wayne Shaw. You know, game in and game out, every time we cover the Argonauts, you walk away impressed with number 9, Wayne Shaw, and his ability to close ground on the receiver and time the contact. He's done this twice today, both times not allowing the receiver to come up with the catch.
The Argo secondary ranked 5th in the league with 19 interceptions. Wayne Shaw with 2 of those out on that lonely corner. Green, second down. Lots of time pumping. Looks to the right and then loses the ball, but his arm was in a forward motion. And it looks like they'll rule this as an incomplete pass.
Well, I tell you what, he's very lucky that this ball got away from him, because Kes McCorvey, working against Martavius Houston, put a move on him that left Houston standing still, wide open. I mean, you can see 25 just at the screen at the second, but the ball gets away from him. Watch this. He just doesn't move and goes up, and nobody stays with him. He is wide open. And had that ball not slipped away from Nealon Green, it very easily would have been another touchdown for Edmonton.
Yes, Green had looked to his left, looking off of McCorvey, then went back to the receiver, and of course had the butterfingers. So this field goal attempt from the 31 from Fleming, and it's good. And so on their opening drive of the second half, the Eskimos put 3 more points on the board and build a 27-0 lead. Welcome back to the Sky Dome in Toronto. The Eskimos leading the Argonauts 27-0 as the Argos get set to go on offense. And these two young men were together as rookies 3 years ago here in Toronto. The trade was made to send Green to Edmonton, and he has excelled lately in the CFL, whereas Barker has remained a number 3 quarterback. And Don Matthews was saying the difference is playing time in their development.
Absolutely. I mean, Nealon Green has been allowed the time to mature as a quarterback. Jay Barker has not.
Handoff, Michael Jenkins up the middle, gang tackled by the Eskimos for a short gain, less than 5 on the play. So it'll be a 2nd and 6 passing situation as Don Matthews has crafted a great game plan here for his young quarterback, helping to call the plays along with Danny Langsdorff, the quarterback coach, only in his 2nd year in the CFL. Upstairs in the box, there's Greg Marshall, the defensive line coach, and just to the left there, Langsdorff, who 1 year ago coached receivers and is 2 years out of university football. Jenkins runs into his own man, keeps going, and by his own will gets the first down.
Nice job of mixing it up by the Toronto offense, where everybody in the house thought that Kerwin Bell was going to air that football. Instead, he hands it off to Michael Jenkins, who does a nice job, and again, through second effort, picks up the first down. And just a little slide, they're just going to block to the right, but he cuts it back against the hole, you can see right there, and keeps the legs churning to pick up that crucial first down.
Well, the Argos have maintained their commitment to the run. 2 weeks ago, we saw them abandon that in that first loss to Hamilton. There's still half of football to go. Throwing wide side Bell. It's complete to Tyrone Brown as he steps out of bounds at the 54-yard line, just short of the first down.
And I don't know if the secondary of Edmonton is giving him this look right now, but the only thing they're really giving Kerwin Bell as a read is the short outs. He's not been able to go down the field vertically and stretch his defense at all. They've taken it away, and right now they're just giving Kerwin a steady diet of, you want to throw it to the sideline.
Other than an incomplete pass to Tyrone Brown in the first half, he has not gone deep. 2nd down and 2. Handoff, Jenkins going outside the tackles. He'll have the first down as he puts his head down and runs into senior Mobley. Good speed by the short 5'6" running back who packs a wall up.
Well, not only good speed and turns the corner, but I love the way he doesn't try and avoid you at the last second. He's going to come right into your living room, but then he puts his head down. He knows he's going to get hit. Look at that. Drop the shoulder. Hey, if you're going to tackle me, I'm going to make you pay for it as well.
A lot like Mike Pringle on that play.
Absolutely. Great leg drive, great presence of mind to know when to lower his body.
The Argos moving the football. First down at their own 49. Play action. Here comes the blitz. Bell stands in there and throws it. Intercepted. Chris Hardy has his 5th pick of the season, and he's still going. Hardy across the 50. Gets some blocks. Still running. Chris Hardy deep into Argo territory, and finally brought down by Andrew English. The 3rd interception of the game by Kerwin Bell, and a 52-yard return of that pick by Chris Hardy, making his first return to this lineup after missing 4 games with an ankle injury. And so Kerwin Bell in trouble here in the second half. Kerwin Bell on the sidelines after throwing his 3rd interception of the game. There's the man, the recipient, Chris Hardy out of the University of Manitoba.
Well, I mean, just a little play action, and the ball gets away from Kerwin Bell. He floats the football way over the intended receiver, Daryl Mitchell, and then, you know what? Watch what happens to the quarterback after you throw an interception. You keep going back, back, back. Oh, no, they're coming after me. He sees Doug Peterson trying to lay a block on him, and Boy, it's been a long day for that man.
With the running of the Bulls, as Bell went down, trampled. First down, though, another scoring situation for the Eskimos, who scored on 5 of 6 possessions in this game. Kerwin Bell, rather, Nealon Green with the completion to Ricky Walters, and he's thrown out of bounds by Byron Capers. Another first down.
Well, we go back to the interception. Little play action. You can see the ball wobbling, just overthrown the intended receiver, Daryl Mitchell. Chris Hardy just back deep in his safety position, picks off his 5th interception. Does a nice job of returning at 52 yards, but again, it's just one of those balls that Kerwin Bell would love to have back.
And the Eskimos are marching. First down. Just shy of the 15 of Toronto. Green back to pass, looking into the end zone, looking for more. He'll go deep into the corner. Touchdown, Nigel Williams, as he's written through the advertising. A 16-yard hookup from Nealon Green to Nigel Williams, and this is turned into a slaughter.
Well, I tell you what, Mark, you know what? I love the big boys up front, but you have to give them credit. Toronto brings a blitz. They are picked up. Nealon Green has all day to throw this football. He sits back there, what seems like an eternity, looks over every one of his options. He goes through his playbook. He opens it on the ground, then decides to finally get rid of the football, and a nice throw. Look at that.
What a catch.
Nice over-the-shoulder catch by Nigel Williams.
Nearly run right into the ambulance. Point after from Sean Fleming is good. And Nigel Williams, with his 4th touchdown of the season, has put the Eskimos way out in front, 34-0 here in the 3rd quarter. There's Nigel Williams savoring his 4th touchdown of the season. Here it is, Chris.
Well, I'll tell you what, look at this. This is the one thing you want to have as we roll it. I mean, he's got nobody around him. Look, he's looking to the left. He's looking in the middle. He's looking to the right. Now he sees a guy finally and throws a beautiful strike, a touchdown strike over the shoulder, the opposite shoulder, if it would, to Nigel Williams. But that offensive line and back, Mark Nora, doing a great job of allowing Nealon Green to just sit back there and have all day to find a receiver.
The Argo defense are fit to be tied, not knowing whether Green will run or throw. And now he's picking them apart through the air. Here's Daryl Mitchell on the kickoff return. Mitchell still going, twisted down and brought down on the 30-yard line. So decent field position on the 21-yard return. And celebrations have become all the rage in the CFL. Here's, looks like the photo, the team photo. Nealon Green, the photographer.
You know what, the competition to keep outdoing the next one. I mean, last night we saw the dancing by the receiving corps, and they do the little side shuffle. Calgary, they're not going to be outdone. They've got their little dance. Even the defense gets into it. You see Vernon Mitchell and Tiggle.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders, their celebration. Benefield, Carter, and the Lions with theirs. These guys have more celebrations than they have plays in their playbook, and has led to some bad blood in the CFL. There's a fumble as Kemp comes into the game at quarterback in his first play. It's a fumble on the snap from Sandy Annunziata. So Kemp is replacing Kerwin Bell, who has been pulled after throwing 3 interceptions.
Well, it's a smart job. You got to give somebody else a chance right now. It's ineffective with Kerwin Bell. You can see the ball is there. But as Jimmy Kemp tries to bring it back up, he catches it in his own hip, and knocks the ball loose.
Kemp lost his starting job to Kerwin Bell. His last start, Labor Day, at Hamilton. A tremendous loss. Now he's coming off the bench to try to salvage this game, but he's down deep, 34-0. Passing situation, Kemp across the middle, nearly intercepted, intended for Eddie Brown. And it bounced out of the hands of Dwayne Provo, who was right on the numbers and could have been a 4th interception.
The balls are all getting away from the Toronto quarterbacks. If I'm Jimmy Kemp or Kerwin Bell, I'm going to make sure they're using the same ball that Nealon Green is throwing right now, because they just can't get that ball to fire where they want it to go right now. Again, over the head. Dwayne Provo should have had that one, hit him in the hands, surprised him, but I mean, just totally another case of being really, really ineffective at offense.
Well, the Argos bewildered on offense as Prefontaine gets set to punt. He's at his own 8-yard line. High snap, gets it away, a high spiral. The Gizmo back at his own 37. Gizmo Williams has brought one back 58 yards. Not much more here as Glenn Young puts the clamp on the Gizmo, and he comes down on a 13-yard return. Now, these dances have caused some controversy, Chris Walby, in the CFL because they've led to incidents like this.
Well,
Adrian Smith breaking it up, feeling that it was being rubbed in the Argo face.
You know what? You and I agree to disagree on this. I mean,
this was last week in Montreal. Wiltshire going at it.
You know, I believe that dancing is part of the game. I mean, it's celebrating the touchdown. The only thing that I think is not acceptable is if you taunt the defender that you beat.
Up the gut, it's the big man, Mark Nora. But I think that perhaps modesty might come into play in this league, that you don't have to showboat in the end zone, that maybe you can just put the ball down like Mike Pringle does and run back to your bench.
You know what? Not everybody has, different strokes for different folks, but I really believe it's part of the game. It's much like fighting in hockey. Don't get rid of that. I mean, I love that show dance. I mean, if you are opportunistic to take the opportunity and score a touchdown, celebrate.
I know if you were playing right now, you'd be running in there and breaking it up yourself.
I'd be dancing.
No, you wouldn't.
Oh, the big man's got some rhythm, let me tell you.
Put the head down and break it up yourself and then get ejected. I might eject you right now. Here's Green. He's got some time. Now he'll run. The Argo secondary locked up on receivers. And the quarterback will step out of bounds with another first down.
Well, it doesn't matter what they do. They just can't contain this guy. I mean, he gets to the outside again. And every time he gets there, he has the option of throwing the football on that 14-yard gain or running. And I mean, look at, he just is doing, he's doing it all.
He has the Argo defense perplexed as they try to cover the receivers. Look at this. Passing yards, 203. Rushing over 50. First down, Edmonton. Handoff up the middle, just off tackle, and Carr is knocked down quickly for a short gain of the play, maybe a yard.
One of the reasons their running game is effective and not, indicated by the last play by Craig Carr, but Mark Nora more and Troy Mills, is the fact that every time he hands that football off, Neil Ongri is instructed to go to the outside in a bootleg formation. Sometimes he hands it off, sometimes he keeps it. He keeps that backside honest, and that allows that seam to maybe happen.
Wearing the visor to stop the glare of the stadium lights. A year ago at this time, he forgot his contacts and couldn't see. He's had his eyes lasered. Here's the screen pass. It's complete to Sean Daniels. Daniels with a head of speed and a straight arm on Simmons. Still going. Touchdown. Did he get in? Yes.
Well, touchdown mark, another one for the Edmonton offense, but Kez McCorvey, what a great job he's doing when he's not catching footballs. We've seen him a number of times today downfield as we watch another celebration, and they're going to run out of ideas pretty soon.
Chris, that is the fifth variation of a touchdown celebration on that 36-yard rumble.
But look at 85 right there. Look at him get in there and block. That's the key block. That springs him to the outside, and then the big man, Sean Daniels, does the rest. He just is hungry and dives into the end zone.
Sean Daniels with his third touchdown on the ground this season and fourth overall. Fleming point after, and it's ugly here in Toronto. McCorvey and the Eskimos leading the Argonauts by a score of 41-0 as Sean Daniels puts out the straight arm and stiffs the Argos. Sean Daniels with 4 touchdowns this season, and it's turned into a senseless slaughter in Toronto.
Well, I'll tell you what, again, great protection, little screen pass. He gets out there, number 85. He springs the block, and then it becomes a foot race. And the big man, Sean Daniels, showing a burst of speed and straight arm on Simmons, and he will not be denied of crossing that goal line.
Now we score. Hey, Lucky. Jim.
Gets his 15 seconds of fame.
Well, Mark, and what we've talked about, this is the second week in a row we've seen a real strong performance by the overall Edmonton team. More especially, obviously, the offense. I mean, they've just put out outstanding numbers and methodically picking apart whatever Toronto gives them.
Chris, they still have a chance for first in the West, trailing Calgary by 3 going into this game. Here's Daryl Mitchell at his own 10. Mitchell with steam, breaks the tackle, still going. Mitchell outside. Daryl Mitchell is gone. There's nobody back, and there are no flags. Touchdown, Argos. Daryl Mitchell puts Toronto on the board. 101-yard return What a thrill.
Mark, I tell you what, Daryl Mitchell only has one catch in the game for 4 yards. He says, I don't care what I got to do, I'm going to get into that end zone. So he does it on special teams, and boy, once he breaks that initial pursuit, the foot speed of Daryl Mitchell takes him the rest of the way into the end zone.
Looking back, but there was nobody in his shadow on that one. 101 yards. So he's got 12 through the air passing, another one through the air on the return, and one on the ground. And a tremendous season. And finally some life for the Argonauts as they get on the board. The point after by Jacob Marini is good. And the Argos trail 41-7 with 3:13 to go in the third quarter.
For an all-purpose tire like the Goodyear Wrangler RTS, come to Canadian Tire. We've got what you need to get away.
Back at the Skydome, Argos still bubbling after that one. As Urban Bowman's special teams crack one. Bowman coming back to this team in mid-season.
Well, you're sounding like a bottle of champagne. Bubble, crack one. But obviously, as you say, Tyrone Brown gets a block on Fleming and allows the foot speed,
Chris,
field vision.
Excuse me, there were a lot of Eskimos standing around on that play. They weren't moving.
Well, you know, when you got a 41-point lead, sometimes you're going to get mental lapses. It's becoming fun. You're really not as mentally sharp as you would be if the score was a lot closer. As you say, there was a mental lapse. That's the only real blemish on the performance of this Edmonton team today. So I said blemish, you said bubble, okay? A couple of B's.
Don Matthews. The first transgression by the Argos in this game. Daryl Mitchell gets one, 101-yard thriller. Coming up next week, we go to Edmonton, where young Henry Burris and the Saskatchewan Roughriders come knocking at 3 Eastern. The Roughriders, of course, with 9 points and 4th in the West, trailing by 4 points the third-place BC Lions, so they're desperate to win this weekend at home against Montreal, and again next weekend on the road in Edmonton to have any chance of making the playoffs.
Absolutely. They got to start tomorrow against a very talented Montreal squad.
Their senior Mobley stopped up, held up. Now the Argos taking turns, taking shots at him. And then he knocks one of the Argo tacklers on his can. That was Errol Martin, the former Eskimo, who gets in there first, and he's a tremendous story on this Argo team. He was diagnosed in 1998, Chris, with cancer of the throat, given 6 months to live. He's battled back. He missed all of last year. And now Errol Martin, not only is he still alive, but he's playing football again. A tremendous story.
Oh, yeah, I played against Errol Martin when he was defensive end with the Edmonton Eskimos. I mean, he was around 240, 245, and he was down to 160 pounds. And you know what? That's such a feel-good story. You just love to see a guy come and beat that deadly disease.
Sure is. First down, Eskimos at their own 30-yard line. Green still in the game, handing off to Mark Nora, breaking outside tackle. Oh, he put his head down, and then he gets the worst of it as Martavius Houston rocks him. But Simmons took a wallop on that one as well.
He dropped his shoulder and he hit Simmons. And Simmons took, as you say, the shot, but his teammate, Martavius Houston, says, oh yeah, tit for tat. And he comes over and rocks Mark Nora.
Well, a lot of observers here in Toronto say this may be the last season to get a look at Martavius Houston, the second-year man out of Auburn, because the NFL has come looking at him again.
Well, he's a talented player. I mean, you can't begrudge guys when it becomes a matter of dollars and cents.
Gain is 5 by Nora, second down and 5. Here comes the blitz. Green in the grass, finally hit, and the Argos came hard. Raposo with his head down, spearing him again. No flags, and a big sack. Donovan Carter will get credit.
Well, they bring him, Donovan Carter, from the outside linebacker. I mean, this guy's got the speed. Rookie out of Northern Illinois just comes, and I mean, he does it all on special teams, and when he gets an opportunity, he was starting earlier in the year in place of Glenn Young, but he's got great quickness. And if you're going to go against the guy that's got the speed of Elon Green, sometimes you got to match speed for speed.
Donovan Carter, the Argos' first pick in the 2000 draft, with his second sack of the game. And a punting situation for Sean Fleming, his second of the game. That's how good the Eskimos have been on offense. A high, towering punt from Fleming. Smith back at his own 30. Breaks a tackle, still going, and then finally hit at the 40-yard line. So the Argos with good field position as they come out, still pumped after that huge return by Daryl Mitchell. There's Errol Martin, as we mentioned, who has beaten cancer. You know, Chris, they were telling me that he has to see the doctor once a month just to make sure his tests are clean. And he doesn't really say to the doctor, don't call me, don't tell me. Right now I'm feeling pretty good. And just recently they told him he can go 4 months between checkups.
That's always a positive sign. He's actually putting a lot of weight back on, too. I think he's up to almost 200 pounds again, which is just a great thing to see.
Kemp, his second series, coming in off the bench, handing off to Michael Jenkins. And the Eskimos read that one. Ben Williams making the tackle for Edmonton, the former Shreveport Pirate, who was nominated for CFL Player of the Year back in 1994, a man that you faced a few times, Chris.
Most definitely. You can see right now they're just trying to go there and try and get around there. But Ron Mayer, number 64, you got to kind of block backside. He's talking about, see, he's waving right there. The backside guy. You got to come with me, protect that backside.
Second and 8, and the pass was intended for Andre Kerwin, and Staten really leveled him as he dropped the ball. Incomplete. And look at this. I don't know if that's mocking or what.
Well, that's basically saying he's putting him to sleep right there. Staten put a stamp on Andre Kerwin. You know what? I don't mind having a great hit if the guy gets up, but you can see he's woozy. He's getting up. He's not sure what county, what state, and what province he's in right now. And I mean, it's a great tackle by Staten.
But that kind of taunting could lead to a fight.
See, this is where we agree right now. I mean, I don't mind the touchdown dances, but I don't like the mocking when there's an injury. I don't think that's right. But as far as the touchdown dances, let them dance.
Kerwin looking woozy after that shot from Staten, and it may be an eye problem.
Well, sometimes, remember, a lot of these players who may wear glasses, wear contacts, and sometimes they take a shot and the contact lenses become jarred and they lose them, but I don't think that's the case in this one. I think he's just basically, you know, knocked about 6 years of medical school out of him.
Yes, the Stanford graduate who has plans to go to medical school. The Winnipegger is up and moving to the bench here at the Sky Dome. So it's a 3rd down and 8 situation for the Toronto Argonauts. And they will go for it with nothing to lose, trailing 41-7. Kemp in the shotgun. Time. Flushed now, will roll. Will pass against the grain. It's complete to Daryl Mitchell. Mitchell has the first down and more across center field. So a gamble paying off on 3rd down for the Argos with 5 seconds now to go until 3/4 time.
Well, Jimmy Kemp's going to call a hurry-up offense, but I really like what he did there, getting to the outside, finding some more time for himself, and throwing the quick sidearm pass to Daryl Mitchell.
That was a tough pass, throwing back against the grain, but they finally got Mitchell open underneath. 1st down, Argos. Play action. Pass complete to Mitchell again, making a move on Henry. Dropped the ball, picked it up again. And he'll be shy of the 1st down by about 3 yards. 1/4 of football to go as Pinball Clements football team comes to life. But right now, the encore performance over and over again of Nealon Green and the Eskimos. Here's the former world record holder in 1996 Olympic sprint champion Donovan Bailey in the house here today, and I'm sure the Argos would love to have his Jets at the whiteout today.
Well, you know, they got speed on Toronto's offense. They just can't get the ball to them, so I don't know if he really helped that much. But, I mean, you look at the 3rd quarter stats, Edmonton way out in front of 1st downs, 23-9. Time of possession still ridiculously in favor of Edmonton, 28 minutes to 16. Obviously, 4 turnovers is going to kill you right there. We saw Chris Hardy with the big 52-yard interception return to set up another touchdown. I mean, what Edmonton has really done, Mark, is take advantage of every opportunity that Toronto's given them.
And Kemp is on a roll on this drive after converting the 3rd down situation. Kemp looking deep down the far sideline. It's complete to Tyrone Brown. He had the ball stripped out of his hands. He jumps on it in the end zone on the goal line. and the official was ruling a catch. Brown had the ball, had it pulled from his hands. He's waiting as the officials confer on the goal line. It is a first down, Argos.
And the second time we've seen a deep ball thrown. On the very first offensive series, Kerwin Bell tried then to go deep to Brown unsuccessfully, and it took to the fourth quarter for Jimmy Kemp to go that way again.
That was the same route that they tried to throw, Chris, in the first quarter. This time it connected on a nice 48-yard pass from Jimmy Kemp to Tyrone Brown. And it took a while before Jacques DeCarry, the back judge, ruled it complete. And up the gut they go. Touchdown, Argos, as Burse crosses the plane and is forced back. But that's 2 consecutive unanswered touchdowns for Toronto.
Well, you have to have something positive to look at tomorrow when you're breaking down the game film. Tony Burse with the 1-yard plunge, his first rushing touchdown of the season. I mean, he's a big boy to keep out of that end zone. The offensive line, which hasn't done a bad job today, creates a little bit of a room, a little bit of a seam, and Tony Burse goes over top and, as you say, puts the first touchdown in the afternoon on for these Toronto Argonauts.
Jacob Marini's convert is good, and the Argos now trail 41-14 on Tony Burse's drive up the gut. The battleship with the Boatman's second touchdown of the game and a big plunge.
Well, just the offensive line coming off right there, and Tony Burse, all 6 feet, 220 pounds, just going over the top. And remember, all you have to do is cross the goal line. I mean, the ball obviously just got over there, the back judge right there to make the call, and he calls a touchdown for the Argonauts. The first offensive touchdown this game for the Argos.
Just breaking the plane of the goal line with the ball itself. And yes, his first rushing touchdown of the season. There's the kickoff from Prefontaine. The Gizmo has the ball at his own 13-yard line. Williams rushing hard and tripped up. Caught early for a short gain. Welsh with the tackle on an 18-yard return of a 62-yard kickoff. Let's go down the sidelines, and here's Peter.
Okay, we got ourselves the biggest Nealon Green fan in the world here. His mother, Patricia Robinson from Mount Vernon, New York. And also Nealon's daughter, Nalia, who's taking a little bit of a nap here, seen enough of Daddy. Listen, last week's game, you were so proud of him. I'm sure he had a breakout game against Calgary. You must be happy with what he's doing here today.
Yes, I am. I'm excited. I am his biggest fan. Me and these two, we're the biggest fans.
Now, earlier on in the season, he had some struggles. You talked to him. What did you say to him during the season when things weren't going right for him?
We just have a pep talk. I just said, shake it off. Shake it off. You can do it. It's nothing, I don't think it's nothing he can't do. So I'm a big believer, and I try to put that in him. So that's just it. I just believe in him.
Thank you very much. Welcome to Canada.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go back up to Mark.
Thanks, Peter. What a game to come to see. Nealon Green having a tremendous football game, although Nalia will probably have to look at the videotape.
Yes, she will, but I mean, if his mom brings him that kind of luck, he might have to shell out a few bucks and fly him everywhere he travels.
And the Eskimos leading Green in the game. Flags are down. Green in trouble. Breaks some tackles, and he's on the run again. Nealon Green. Tiggle is knocked for a huge block. Nora on the block there, coming back to help his quarterback as Green steps out of bounds for a first down, but flags are down on that 16-yard scramble.
Well, early indication is against Edmonton.
And it sounds like Nigel Williams is called for offside. Here's Jake Ireland.
Offside. Edmonton number 82. Repeat second down.
Looking for an all-purpose tire like the Goodyear Wrangler RTS? Come to Canadian Tire. We've got what you need to get away.
Nealon Green staying in this game despite the fact the Eskimos have a 41-14 lead. No sign of Dan Crowley, the backup, yet, as Don Matthews gives his sophomore starter more reps at quarterback. That pass intended for Nora, incomplete, a little low, and it was Martavius Houston putting a shot on the big back.
Well, it's probably his worst throw of the afternoon. A little low, but it's still in the right direction. Let's take a look at the pit and see what's going on down with the big boys right now. You can see everybody's looking to hit somebody. See Cunningham taking the man off a grown wagon. Guys are coming around, knocking them into each other. They're having fun down there, boy. When you got a big lead like that, it's just, hey, somebody comes free, let them know you're here, baby.
The Eskimos have cooled off, though, on offense. The Argos have come alive, but with 12:40 and ticking, there isn't a lot of time left, down 41-14. The Argos desperate to win this game after Winnipeg defeating Hamilton last night and moving 3 points up for third place.
But the positive mark is the defense is stopping Edmonton right now, and as a result, their offense, Toronto's offense, gets another kick in the cat.
Adrian Smith has the ball hop over his head. It hits his foot. He has to fall on it, but there are flags down, and the indication is it'll be no yards against the Eskimos, and so the Argos will have good field position when Pinball Clemens and his offense come on the field.
Okay. Welcome back to Skydome. The Edmonton Eskimos leading the Toronto Argonauts 41-14 here in the fourth quarter. Next game for the Toronto Argonauts will be Friday, October the 27th. They take on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. That'll be at 7:30 Eastern Time. For tickets, call 416-872-5000.
Right you are, Peter Rutgeiser, and the Argos on a collision course with the Blue Bombers. Here's Kemp. It's complete across the middle to Michael Jenkins. Jenkins to the 50-yard line. A gain of about 6 yards on the play. Jimmy Kemp has ignited this Toronto offense, but is it too little too late?
Well, you'll wonder if Edmonton's playing a little bit conservative right now. We see Peterson back for a second game after abdominal strain.
But Chris, you know what? He told me yesterday he is still fighting the abdominal strain and cannot handle defenders or offensive linemen up high. But you can see on that board so many injuries this year for the Edmonton defense. In fact, at one point this season, Don Matthews didn't know some of the names of the players he had in the starting lineup. They were that new.
Well, look at the fact we got Dwight Henry back today. I mean, 14 games missed. Jerome Peterson, 8 games. I mean, you got some guys playing Hardy, 4 games. You know, and guys that are still injured. I mean, they're getting guys back at the right time with 2 games left in the, you know, in the regular season. This is what you want.
Chris Hardy, of course, tremendous athlete, quarterback at Manitoba, made the team as a receiver and is now starting at free safety and has his 5th interception of the season here in this game. Third down gamble by the Argos, 4 yards to go. Pass across the middle. It's complete to Daryl Mitchell at center field. And Ralph Staten, who's been an assassin in that secondary, makes another big hit. But the marker looks like he'll have the first down where they spot this ball.
Well, they mark the first down, but as you say, Staten is putting a stamp on these receivers right now. Every time they catch the ball, his philosophy is, I will make you pay for it. We saw him with a devastating hit on Andre Kerwin, knocking him fuzzy. There he does it again to Daryl Mitchell.
Built like an NFL free safety, 6'4", 210. 1 year out of the Baltimore Ravens camp of the NFL. Flags are down as Kemp goes back to pass. The play whistled down. And the call will be procedure against the Argos.
Procedure. Toronto number 61. Still first down.
Jerry Kraft, the 6'7", 350-pound first-year man out of Louisville. So big he looks like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Well, I don't know if I go that way. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm giving him your address after the game, and he can come and knock on your door and talk about that last statement.
He's a big man.
I got to stick up for the old line.
Here's Kemp back to pass. It's complete and out of bounds to Brown. Tyrone Brown makes the catch with no room to spare in front of the Eskimo bench.
Well, they actually call him King Kong. I mean, he came out, he wears a crown around his head. He is a big man.
He's a big man. No,
I mean, he dwarfs other people. If you see him standing there and you get a little, you know, Michael Jenkins standing behind him, I mean,
he just blots out the sun.
But I'm sure he's going to be very happy when he looks at this tape tomorrow and hears your comment about the so-called Marshmallow Man. Well,
I'm just saying he's big. Kemp having a good series here. Screen pass to Michael Jenkins. All kinds of daylight. Terry Ray in pursuit. Jenkins forced out of bounds. A huge gain for the Argos as Jimmy Kemp continues to move the sticks.
Nice job of swinging the pass out to Jenkins. Out to the outside, and he does the rest on his own, but just going to come out. Little play action, just put it across right there, sneaks out of the backfield and lets him do the rest. He's got great speed. He turns it on right now and just gets grabbed by Terry Ray.
A 25-yard gain by Michael Jenkins. And the Argos are moving again on offense. Time is not on their side. 10 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. The snap is over Kemp's head. Rushing for it. He'll just fall on it. Tremendous break there for the Eskimos as Mobley makes the tackle. The loss is 23, so the net is just 2 yards.
Well, Sandy Annunziata, the man who's responsible for getting that long snap, just puts it over his head. And again, a bad break. Just when things are starting to turn the corner for the Argo offense, something like that happens, and they lose a tremendous amount of field position.
So that wipes out the big gain by Jenkins. Here's Kemp to pass across the middle. It's complete. Mitchell breaks the tackle. Daryl Mitchell going to the corner. 5, touchdown Argos. Mitchell with his second touchdown of the game. 48 yards on the pass from Jimmy Kemp. And the Argos are coming back.
You know the biggest thing, Mark, coming into the fourth quarter, Daryl Mitchell only had 1 catch for 4 yards. All of a sudden, they started throwing the football. He does what he does so well time and time again. YAC, yards after the catch. He beats Staten, and then it becomes a foot race. And we all know what kind of speed Daryl Mitchell has as he takes it into the end zone. And as you say, Jimmy Kemp has ignited this Argo offense.
Yes, Jimmy Kemp coming off the bench. 2 touchdowns to go with the kickoff return for a touchdown by Bell, and the Argos will go for 2 here now, trailing 41-20. Kemp in the shotgun, looking deep into the end zone for Mitchell. There's a flag. Mobley on the coverage, and he was all over Mitchell.
Well, he was shielding him, and you can't do that. And the key is you have to look back. You're an old quarterback from Concordia. You know what it's like to throw your receiver. Carlton, same thing, start with a C. You know, he comes back, he turns. You have to look back toward the football as if you're going to play the
Forward
football.
pass interference. Edmonton, number 27, will repeat the convert from the 1-yard line.
So Mobley called on that shielding, pass interference. So what do you call here on the 1-yard line?
You're a quarterback, make the call.
Well, you're the offensive lineman who always made the call, as I understand, from Matt Dunnigan in the huddle of Winnipeg.
And you know what? You're absolutely right. And I'd be running it right here.
Okay, as usual, let's run the ball.
Absolutely. And I got pinball behind me because he said, you know, it's a commitment.
So it is a 2-point convert all over again. Kemp coming up to the line. Eskimos stacking the gaps there. Ball on the 1-yard line. Argos showing run. Handoff to Burst, pushing. He'll have it. The Battleship with a 2-point convert for the Boatmen. And now they trail 41-22 by 19, and there's time left. 8:36 to go in this game as Tony Burst gives the Argos hope. Daryl Mitchell has ignited this Toronto team with 2 second-half touchdowns and a total of 15 for the season, capping that 7-play scoring drive with a thrilling catch.
Well, nice job. And this is, you know, this is standard. Right there, you know Daryl Mitchell's going to come across the middle, but it's what he does after he catches the football. He breaks the tackle by Staten and takes it to the end zone, and then they go for 2 points, and we all know what happens there with the big Battleship.
The Argos down by 19, 2 touchdowns with 2 2-point converts and a field goal, and they're back in this game. Big hit on the gizmo, and the Argo special teams limit his return to 13 yards on that 59-yard kickoff. And now there's some pushing and shoving as Burst has some words.
Well, they've got some life right now. Tony Burst getting a 2-point conversion. I mean, good offensive line surge. And you know what? Right, we talked about earlier when he went in for the touchdown. This is a big man, and he just wants to get the ball across the plane of the goal line. He does it on that, and I say a very crucial 2 points, Mark.
Indeed it was. As Burst has scored 1 from the same position and added a 2-point conversion. Nealon Green in the shotgun formation. First down at the Edmonton 29. Green calling a draw. Nowhere to go. And Calvin Tiggle takes his legs out. The ball's on the field. The Argos have it. What a break.
And Mark, we talked about it. One of the players we introed and we talked about in the opening, Calvin Tiggle. Wherever Nealon Green goes, number number 73, Calvin Tingle, is sure to follow. He does a great job of knifing in there on the quarterback draw, hitting, bringing down Nealon Green, causing a fumble, and then coming up with the recovery. Watch him. It's just a design play, looking for an opening. Number 73 comes in there right at the ankles. Ball comes out, and there's Ty Rogers, number 91. Johnny in a spot with a key recovery for the Argonauts.
Rogers having words there, taunting the quarterback in that replay. But the quarterback, the young sophomore starter, not protecting the ball. First down, Toronto. At the Edmonton 30. Kemp back to pass. He's going for broke. Deep. Intended for Mitchell. Incomplete. Double coverage on the play. It's only second down and 10, and there's an injured defender in the end zone for Edmonton. It looks like Ralph Staten.
You can see Calvin Tingle just taking the legs out from Nealon Green, and as Nealon goes down, the ball hits the turf, comes loose, and Ty Rogers, number 91, comes up with the fumble recovery.
Ralph Staten is still down in the end zone, favoring his legs. They've got them both up. Looks like it might be a cramp.
Well, it might be a cramp, but one of the nice things about that play, Daryl Mitchell couldn't come up with the catch, but he at least put his hands up and didn't allow defenders to come away with an interception.
Another look at that tight coverage, but the ball was on the money. There's no chance there as Mitchell was sandwiched, and there you can see Staten favoring his leg. Grasping his hamstring, it looked like, Chris.
Yeah, that might be, and that's somebody that can ill afford to lose. I mean, another injury for the Edmonton Eskimos. I mean, even the trainer or equipment guy, Dwayne Mandrusiak's got hurt his finger last week, so it's just spreading through the whole team.
Staten still on the field, and so the Eskimos will have to look for another replacement on defense.
Looking for an all-purpose tire like the Goodyear Wrangler RTS? Come to Canadian Tire. We've got what you need to get away.
Back in Toronto, Jimmy Kemp in a huddle on the sidelines with Paul LaPolice, the offensive coach, and Kerwin Bell, who was pulled after 3 quarters. Jay Barker in the background. Kemp has got to make sure he doesn't get too greedy, but go for broke. Let's get a first down, keep the ball moving as Staten is up now, moving under his own steam.
Well, and I also think you can't focus on one receiver. I know that you got a weapon like Daryl Mitchell, but you got some other good receivers out there. Let's take a look at the game notes. We talked about it's a big field to use it. Edmonton 19 receptions. They're doing it. They're all moving it all over the field. Defense. They're finally, they really did a good job on the speed of the receivers, but Toronto's starting to come alive in this fourth quarter. Toronto's offense, they're still rushing the ball 14 times, and Nealon is still throwing it 5 touchdown passes through the air.
Green has gone silent here in the fourth quarter. Here's Kemp. Second down and 10. Lots of time across the middle. It's tipped and intercepted. Chris Hardy has his 6th pick. He laterals the ball now. Still going. Dwight Henry for the Eskimos. Kemp trying to make the tackle. He can't get there. Here comes Brown. Brown finally pulls Henry out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
What a great effort by Tyrone Brown. Yeah, the ball was deflected. The receiver in his hands. Deflects to Chris Hardy, again the recipient of a tip drill, if you would. Brings it back, has the presence of mind to lateral to Dwight Henry, but Tyrone Brown said, no, I'm going to chase you down. It just goes through the receiver's hands, pops up in the air. Chris Hardy comes down with it. You see Nigel Williams trying to make it. Or Eddie Brown, excuse me. And then it becomes a foot race. And you got to be impressed with number 83 coming into your screen, Tyrone Brown, not allowing an easy touchdown by Dwight Henry.
And the disappointment, you could see it as Kemp finally gave up the chase there. A 96-yard return on the interception by Hardy, the lateral to Dwight Henry, and it's 1st and goal Eskimos on the Argo 1, and that has let the air out of the Toronto offense. The ball tipping off of Brown and being picked off. Green turning, handing off to Nora. Touchdown. Mark Nora just breaks the pain of the goal line on the 1-yard plunge for his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season.
Well, as you said, you can just see the air leaving the balloon over there because they were just riding a high. And when you ride that high of emotion, sometimes good things happen. And
Eddie Brown got his hands on this one. Here's another look, Chris. Oh, it was right there.
Right there, and he has to squeeze that. That's the biggest thing right now. They call him Downtown Eddie Brown. He makes big plays, but you got to be able to live up to that name now, that moniker. And he's got the ball in his hands, and you got to squeeze it, and you got a first down. As a result, he doesn't though, Mark. Deflects it up. Chris Hardy brings it down, flips it over to Dwight Henry. Edmonton scores a touchdown and basically shuts the door on you.
The point after by Sean Fleming is good. Kemp is on the phone up to the spotter's box. The tough luck is Nora puts the ball in the end zone, converting on that 96-yard turnabout for the Eskimos. It's 4 interceptions the Argos have given up and 21 points as a result for Edmonton.
Just a nice yard, little plunge right there. Johnny Scott wraps him up, but you can see Mark Nara stretches the ball across the plane, and I mean, there's no doubt about it, it is a touchdown. But wow, talk about a turn of events.
I mentioned, Chris, 4 interceptions by the Eskimo defense. Let's take a look back. Kerwin Bell picked off by Ralph Staten on the goal line. That snuffed a promising drive. Bell going deep here, intercepted by Jerome Peterson. That one right in his hands on the numbers. Bell again, overthrown. A gift to Chris Hardy. That was his 5th of the season, first of the game. Then the tip to Hardy, his 2nd pick of the game, and heads up the lateral to Dwight Henry, but with a block from Peterson, outrunning Jimmy Kemp, going down the sidelines. And it was Tyrone Brown coming to the rescue, putting him out of bounds at the 1, but only prolonging the touchdown as Nora went in from 1. And it's 48-22 Edmonton.
And if you ever want to have an analogy of how turnovers kill you, boy, you did it great there, Mark.
Back come the Argos. James Jenkins with the return for Toronto, hit hard out of bounds, and there's an injured Eskimo on the play, but the Argos go back on offense when we come back. Come back to the Sky Dome in Toronto. Mark Lee, Chris Walby, and Peter Rutgeiser, and an injured Eskimo on that last return. And we haven't been able to see his number yet, Chris, as he still lays prone on the field. Oh, it's Craig Carr. Backup tailback.
Exactly. I mean, this is another blow. I mean, we saw Staten get what might be a potential hamstring earlier, and now they're working on the calf of Craig Carr. And we'll take a look and see if we can find out what happened on that one. Little head fake by Welch to get to the outside. You can see him on the bottom of your screen right in here getting blocked, and kind of goes down and stays down. Leroy Blue with a little block from the side.
Carr now sitting. A reminder that coming up tonight on Hockey Night in Canada, Game 1 has the Leafs at the Saddle Dome to meet the Flames, followed by our nightcap, the Phoenix Coyotes at the Vancouver Canucks. It all begins at 6:30 Eastern with Labatt Saturday night tonight on CBC. Next week we'll be in Edmonton at Commonwealth Stadium, where the Rough Riders pay a visit, 3 o'clock Eastern. That should be a good one. They've been getting tremendous crowds in Edmonton. If you'd like a ticket, call 780-448-3757.
They had over 52,000 watching them play the Calgary Stampeders last week.
Let's go down the sidelines, and here's Peter Rutgeiser with Donovan Bailey.
Down here with Donovan Bailey, a good friend of Pinball Clemens. You mustn't like what you're seeing here as far as the score is concerned in terms of your friend.
No, I mean, I came down to support Mike. He's got a good group of guys here. And, yeah, it's tough to see 48-22. It's real tough. I mean, I know that they're trying to fight for a playoff spot.
Tell me, what about your future in track and field? Are you going to sit down and think about that? The World Championships are coming up. What after that?
Well, I'm doing a lot of assessing right now. I speak to my coach often, and we're talking a lot and doing a lot of things right now that will decide what I'm going to do in the next year.
Okay, thanks a lot, Donovan. Best of luck to you. Let's go back up to Mark.
Thank you, Peter. Yes, the World Championships next year in Edmonton. And a lot of Canadians would love to be able to watch Donovan Bailey on home soil, and Bruni Surin duel in the 100 meters. Both men, of course, hampered by illness and injuries in Sydney. That was sad to see, but both men in tremendous shape, and so another year probably left on the clock for those men. Here's Kemp going downfield. It's intercepted. Dwayne Provo drops the ball after making the interception and then falls on it. The pass was intended for Andre Kerwin. It was too high from Kemp, and it's intercepted. The 5th pick of the game for this secondary from Edmonton.
Well, I mean, they're just caving in right now. I mean, it had the right read. Jimmy Kemp knew where he wanted to put the football. The guy is wide open. Just overthrows Andre Kerwin. It's nice to see number 81 back in the lineup after taking a good hit from Staten earlier in the game. But just a case of the ball again. We've seen it repeatedly from the Toronto Argonaut quarterbacks of letting the ball get away from them. And if they're, as a result, as you say, another turnover, 6-1 for Toronto.
And the Eskimos go back on offense with 5:40 and ticking to go in regulation time. Green handing off. Mark Nora pulling his way through the middle of the Argo defense. And Dan Crowley is now warming up on the Eskimo sideline.
Well, I think when when Toronto was coming back a little bit, obviously if there was any thought of bringing Nealon Green out of the game, that was quickly extinguished. But the fact now that they have the big lead again, I think you're going to probably see Crowley come in right now. We see him warming up on the sidelines. But how about that offensive line, the big Hoggies? We got to give some credit to these guys. They've just done an outstanding job of picking up everything that Toronto's defense has thrown at them.
2nd down and 4, Edmonton. Green back to pass. He'll throw, intended for McCorvey. It's incomplete, slightly behind him. And so it's a punting situation now for the Eskimos with 4:52 to play. Likely the last play of this game for Nealon Green, who has been brilliant.
Well, we talk about it. These guys still got to work. You can see Johnny Scott getting cut by Cunningham, spinning. Always working. Always. You can never quit. I mean, you're getting paid to play 60 minutes. There's Leo Groenewegen, the vet of that group right there, playing in his 249th consecutive game. Next game, he ties legendary Saskatchewan Rough Rider Roger the Brick Alday.
How hard is that to play 249 consecutive games in the trenches?
I don't know. I think it's remarkable when you really think about it, especially at that position.
Adrian Smith, the lone Argo back for this punt. Sean Fleming at his own 25-yard line. Argo's looking for the block. Fleming gets it away. A high punt. Adrian Smith has it at his 30. He's surrounded by the Eskimos. Good coverage on special teams. And little or no gain as Hensey Charles makes the tackle after a 3-yard run back. And we'll go back down to the sidelines, and here's Peter.
Next games for these two teams. Toronto has games this Friday against Winnipeg, and then on November the 5th, they're at Montreal to end out the regular season. As for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, play Toronto and Edmonton on November the 3rd.
Well, if the Argos should lose this football game, a win by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers next week would put them out of the playoffs.
Well,
Here's the West.
You know what? We talked about this. The interesting thing is, here's the team Winnipeg fighting for the playoffs, and if Hamilton continues to lose, Winnipeg can theoretically end up in 2nd place.
Here's Kemp now, bailing. He'll throw. It's complete to Eddie Brown. Brown has this one across center field, and a 1st down for the Argonauts. As Kemp has some words with Grant Carter, the middle linebacker, who picked off Dave Dickinson last week and returned it 75 yards for a touchdown. The gain is 24. As we look at the battle for 1st, and yes, the Eskimos still have a shot, Chris, at Calgary in 1st place coming into this game, trailing by 3, so they'll move to within 1 with a win here today, and Calgary will play BC tomorrow.
When you look at the remaining games, I mean, they have Montreal and Hamilton, 2 tough games on the road, so this is what's great. I mean, right now, it's all up for grabs. I mean, you kind of hate it. It's nice for the team if you can clinch first, but I like to see it go down to the final games.
Shannon Garrett, the defensive back for Edmonton, is now down. They've had some troubles in the secondary with injuries here in this game. Hey, Winnipeg could still finish 2nd in the East.
You didn't hear me say that about 2 minutes ago.
Sorry, I missed
Obviously,
that.
I think you're not listening to me at all, Mark. You know, I can tell you're a quarterback. You know what? Because I feel like I'm in the huddle with you now. I'm talking, and you're not. You're looking past me, right? Am I invisible? Should I be just wearing a sheet or something? Come on.
Well, that's what I call taunting. I'd flag you for that.
I'm just kidding, but you're absolutely right. Winnipeg, who is fighting right now, and of course Toronto was really looking to get, catch up to Winnipeg after their win last night, and they were theoretically also looking to go to the West if BC falters. So I mean, it's still up for grabs with that crossover, but I mean, you gotta like the way Edmonton's looking right now.
2 big games, a 33-30 victory last week against Calgary to win that season series, 3 out of 4. In the event of a tie, they would also get first. Here's Kemp looking down the sidelines. It's complete. Tyrone Brown has it for Toronto, and another first down. 13 yards the gain. 3:26 to go in regulation time. And again, that drop pass to Eddie Brown, looming large. The tip picked by Chris Hardy, turning into a touchdown for Edmonton, snuffing out what looked like another great Toronto drive. Kemp in the shotgun, stepping up now. He'll pass. Michael Jenkins can't hold on to the ball. Incomplete. Jerome Peterson making contact with the running back, but another drop pass on the money from Jimmy Kemp.
Yeah, you're right, but he's on the money, and that's the key. He's throwing the ball where it should be. Yeah, a couple have gotten away from him, and it resulted in an untimely interception. You know, I'm almost wondering myself, though, Mark, do we, and I don't want to really say it, but is there going to be a quarterback controversy? I mean, we saw Kerwin Bell come in really ineffective today. Jimmy Kemp kind of sparking the team. Is there something maybe next week we'll look for?
Well, some say that Kemp is better off the bench. Brown says he has the catch. The officials say no, that he trapped it. Well, what do you think about Kemp? I mean, he has been very efficient coming off the bench here today.
Then there's that third piece of the puzzle. Are we ever going to see Jay Barker?
Late in the season, he has not been a factor. After injuring his knee early, we may not. But this has been Green's Red Letter Day. Mike Clemens in his first year as a head coach, coming in at mid-season for John Heward. Don Matthews, 20 years a head coach, or at least a coach in this league. And you know, in his rookie season, Don Matthews was 4-1 in 1983 in British Columbia. Identical start to Mike Clemens here in the year 2000. Of course, Matthews taking the Lions to the Grey Cup, losing 18-17 to Toronto. Little BC place in Vancouver. Jimmy Kemp back to pass. Has it batted down, and the play is whistled down. So the third down gamble, no good. There's ice on the left hand of Nealon Green, who will come out of the game now as Dan Crowley comes in. No word on whether that's serious.
Well, the good thing about it, if there is a good thing, it's the fact that it's not his throwing his hand. It's his receiving hand when he goes underneath the center.
Well, it'll be his lower hand underneath the center.
Yeah, when he receives the football in.
Well, the upper hand receives the ball.
You're going to look for anything you can now to show that I'm an O-lineman, aren't you?
Look at his numbers, though. 5 touchdowns, 239 yards in the air as the backup, Dan Crowley, out of Towson State, comes in. He had a pretty good game against the Argos back in September, throwing for 205 yards and 2 touchdowns. Staying on the ground is Mark Nora. Short gain on the play, across the 40 to about the 42-yard line. They'll bring the ball back and spotted at the 41. Those are the numbers this season so far for Crowley. 10 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He left the CFL for a couple of years after '96 and played professionally in Italy. Keeping his hand in the game, coming back and getting back into the CFL with Edmonton. Second down and 7, Edmonton. Draw play, Nora nowhere to go, and he may have lost yards on that play as Donovan Carter made contact with help from Roger Dunbrack.
Well, this is one of the times of the game, Mark, where the team, Edmonton, is just looking at the clock, and so is Toronto saying, see Jay Barker warming up. Maybe we'll get to see him a little bit today.
We talked about it earlier in the game, saying that his development has been stunted by not getting as much time on the field as Nealon Green.
Absolutely, and when they brought Kerwin Bell in here, he was going to be the number 1 guy, which moved Jimmy Kemp down to number 2, but he's going to learn from some good people. I mean, that's what all good quarterbacks or up-and-comers need, is to have somebody to have as a mentor, and he's got a couple good ones in Kemp and Bell.
Parker had a thigh injury in the first preseason game against Montreal, came back, got injured, hurt his knee in week 3, and that's been it. His season has been ruined by injuries. And he may get a chance here with a little more than 2 minutes to play to get some reps with the offense in-game competition. Smiling Adrian Smith back to receive this punt from Sean Fleming. Fleming running the clock down. It's blocked. Donovan Carter has the block and the touchdown recovery for Toronto. his hands and blocks the punt.
Well, I mean, is there one bright light, Mark, today? It's being special teams. We saw Daryl Mitchell on a return for a touchdown, 101 yards, and now we see Donovan Carter coming through, blocking John Fleming's punt, and then gathering it up at the 1-yard line and just slowly sauntering across the goal line. But I tell you what, there's going to be some positive for Coach Clemens to look at tomorrow. It's the other things, the ineffectiveness of his offense early on in the game that's got to have some concerns for him.
Donovan Carter's second block kick of the season, the rookie out of Northern Illinois, with a blocked punt for a touchdown, and it's 48-28 with the conversion now to come, and Barker coming right into the game for this play. As the Argos will go for 2 with 2:11 to go in the game. Think back now, that botched catch by Eddie Brown that resulted in a touchdown. The Argos were threatening there. They could be in the ballgame. Barker coming off the bench for the 2-point conversion. He'll throw. Oh, he hit Brown right in the numbers. And it's incomplete. Tyrone Brown making the turn, and on the break, he just saw the ball at the last minute. And so the 2-point convert is no good.
Hey, Mark, story of the game. I mean, the ball is there a lot of times. The receivers are not helping their quarterbacks out. They do all the things right as far as getting open, but the last part of the puzzle, catching the football, they just can't do it.
Here's the block. There's Carter right through the middle. He beat Grant Carter on the play.
Well, he just goes against the up-back. Grant Carter swims him. That ball's got to be off, because when they're telling those guys, the only fault that Grant Carter did is you have to release the attacker to the outside. Never allow the guy to come to the inside of you.
And there's the pass for the 2-point convert. Look at this. Right on the numbers, and Brown wasn't looking.
Well, it looked like he was right there. The ball hit him right in the hands. It just looked like it went off his chest. But, you know, that's just been the story for the Argonauts. I mean, they have opportunities, and when they've had them, they haven't been able to take advantage of them.
Well, is the hands team on for a possible onside kick as Kemp and Bell take a break now, and the third stringer, Jay Barker, will get a chance to operate his first offensive series.
Is Tyrone Brown on the hands team? I bet he's not.
Being facetious.
I am. As soon as I look that word up, I'll tell you if I am or not.
So Adrian Smith is the lone Argo on the short side of the field. There are 10 more Argos on the wide side as Noel Prefontaine gets set. Showing short kick. It is high to the sideline and caught by Terry Vaughn, who will just drop at the 51-yard line to protect the football, and the Eskimos will start.
And that's a nice job of the Edmonton up front people blocking the attackers, the guys trying to recover the ball from Toronto, not allowing them to get to the wall, letting Terry Vaughn come up with an easy catch. And again, Edmonton's offense comes out, got an excellent field position with 2:05 left in the game.
Crowley will try to run the clock now with 2:05, as you mentioned, to go, Chris. Turnovers the key in this game to the fortunes of Edmonton and to the dismay of this Toronto team. Ball just outside the Argo 50. Crowley will keep it on the ground to Mark Mora. He's strung, and he'll take a loss on the play as Martavius Houston runs him right over the Argo bench.
Well, defense still doing his job. Their special team coach, Urban Bowman, former coach of mine, took us to the Cup in '92 in Toronto.
62 years of age, beating prostate cancer, and as we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, sleeping on an inflatable mattress in the offices of the Argo camp at Arundel College so that he can spend more time late at night working game film.
Well,
and it has paid off.
To catch up, I mean, he comes in mid-season. He says he felt he owed the organization that time.
Makes his home in Tweed, Ontario. Handoff up the middle. It's Nora. Seemed to bobble the handoff, but kept control.
Do you go by Tweed?
Make that trip many times on the way home to Ottawa.
The reason I say that is Urban Bowman's wife makes the meanest hot crust buns in the world. They're absolutely wonderful. And when he used to be coaching in Winnipeg, she used to come in and bring them for the players. And then, of course, he had chickens. And so he'd bring eggs in and sell, you know, cases of eggs to the fellas. I mean, fuck a dozen. It was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, he keeps telling me to pop in on the way home to Ottawa, so I might take him up on that offer.
That's right. You'll get a pocket full of feathers.
Of course, now he's got the sheep going there, too.
Well, then you'll really be at home.
So it's a punting situation for the Eskimos. Fleming, who had his last punt, blocked and returned for a touchdown by Donovan Carter. And again, it's Adrian Smith, the lone man back, as the Argos show block. They're coming after this one, Chris. Clock ticking down to 1. Here they come. Just away. Fleming gets the punt off and angles it out of bounds at the 19-yard line. So a good punt from Fleming under pressure from the Argos. 32-yarder out of bounds, no return by Toronto. Reminder coming up tonight on Hockey Night in Canada. Game 1 has the Leafs at the Saddledome to meet the Flames. Toronto coming out a 4-1 win in Edmonton the other night. That'll be followed by the Phoenix Coyotes at the Vancouver Canucks. Our Saturday night doubleheader. It all begins at 6:30 Eastern with Labatt Saturday night. Tonight on CBC. And then 1 week from today, we'll be in Edmonton. Henry Burris and the Saskatchewan Roughriders come calling at 3 Eastern. The CFL on CBC. 1:30 to go in regulation time. Jay Barker to pass. Pressure. He'll run now. Barker looking for the first down marker. Stumbles and then gets out of bounds for a first down.
Nice
14.
Nice job, Mark, of him coming up there. You can see the revamped East Division standings right now. We've given the loss to Toronto right now. This remain at 11 points. Winnipeg with that big win last night, 14. And let's update the West right now with Edmonton getting the win. And you can see 1 point behind Calgary, and Calgary playing tomorrow against the BC Lions.
Yes, and that's always a tough game of football. Here's Barker to pass. Pressure. He's sacked. Smothered on the play. And he's slow to get up. Williams will get credit, and the sack is second of the season.
Well, Big Ben Williams, who played 94 and 95 in Shreveport. I mean, a couple stints with the Chicago Bears. Just comes running a looping stunt. Comes from the end to the outside, finds an opening, and comes through there. And sacks and takes down Jay Barker, who could not get that ball off in time.
Let's go back to the CFL with some pretty big cannons. Here's Barker in trouble again, looking to throw, and he'll be surrounded and harassed by that Edmonton defense. It's Signor Mobley signaling he's got the sack.
You know what's going to happen next time? Next time, God forbid, that we have a situation like this where the game is out of hand and they're looking to Jay Barker to come in the fourth quarter at this, I guarantee he's going to run around, put a bag of ice on his thigh and say, hey, I love the coach, but I can't go in right now. He's taking a beating in there. You know, 2 plays in a row, that Edmonton defense just come after him and sacks him ungracefully to the ground.
Taking advantage of the young quarterback who has not seen much of the field this year, and instead of going into the prevent, as you mentioned, Chris, coming after him with blitzes.
They got it.
Johnny Scott and Tyrone Rogers.
We can't get through a pass.
Oh, with some shop talk on the Argo bench saying that
I did too. What type of quarterback he is.
perhaps they couldn't get a pass rush on Nealon Green.
Well, I think they were mentioning that, and they also said that's the kind of quarterback he is, and it's tough. And we talked earlier about the fact, Mark, that Nealon Green will present problems. It makes the defenses play honest. And they can't do a lot of things they normally do against him because if he busts it, he's going for a long way.
Flag on the play. The Argos inside the 5-yard restraining zone on that 44-yard punt from Prefontaine. No return. And it looked like it was Burse.
Toronto number 34, first down.
So Tony Burse taking out his frustrations on that punt cover. And the Eskimos will have excellent field position with which to run out the clock with 30 seconds to go in the game.
That's an opportunity for Dan Crowley to look at some things, maybe hand it off to Nora, maybe throw a couple of balls right now. But right now, that whole team is saying, you know, let's just take a knee and get it over with.
Crowley with protection now in the backfield will take a knee and start the clock. 28 seconds now. Play whistled in, and the clock will tick.
Mark, we really got to be impressed with this Edmonton offense today. Nealon Green having a stellar day at the helm of that offensive ship. I mean, throwing the ball just effectively, taking off, running himself a few times.
Well, his confidence has to be soaring with back-to-back outings against Calgary and Toronto for victories, moving his team to within 1 point of first place Calgary in the West. As Crowley takes another knee, and this will be the last play of the football game. Play whistled in. Crowley will run the clock to 0 and take a knee. And the Eskimos will defeat the Toronto Argonauts 48-28 as Nealon Green continues to show tremendous poise and promise as a starting quarterback. Mike Clemens, who will always smile, win or lose, congratulating his mentor, Don Matthews, with the win here today. The Argos will remain 3 points behind Winnipeg for that third and final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. And Don Matthews 1 point behind Calgary in the West. Let's go down to field level, and here's Peter with the winning quarterback.
Nealon Green, I'm telling you, you had a great game against Calgary last week, and that confidence keeps building. Another great game here today.
Yeah, we're getting the later part of the season, and then, I mean, pretty much every game is going to be like a playoff game, because a lot of these guys are trying to get in that last spot or trying to establish themselves in the playoffs, and we're in an opportunity that we can do something ourselves, and we just got to keep playing hard-nosed football like Eskimos do. And tonight you've seen a great effort. We had a couple of turnovers, a couple of letdowns, and overall we had a great job today.
Must be fantastic. Your daughter's here, your mom's here. This is the first time they've seen you play as a pro. Tell me your thoughts there. How do you feel?
It feels good. I wanted to come out here and do some positive things, and once everything started going, we started executing, and a lot of things started opening up. I think Mark Nora did a great job. Offensive line blocked great, and receivers just got open. And it's a credit to everybody that's been working hard all week and knowing that letdown we had in Montreal, that we can turn everything around and do some positive things late in the season.
Tell me, this team looks like it is playoff tested. It's ready to go to the playoffs. That big game last week, today, I guess you're making a statement as we head to the postseason.
Yeah, we don't want to get far ahead of ourselves. We're just taking it one day at a time, one practice at a time, and just making sure we execute and stay focused. Even though if the game is going down or the game is going good, stay focused, keep fighting, keep battling for 4 quarters.
Tell me, you spread the ball around to everybody. Everybody got to touch the ball. Is that what you have to do now to be successful heading to the postseason?
The more weapons you use, the more opportunities you have a chance to getting positive things happen for your offense. And the more we spread it around, mix it up, our offense go. And we executed today. Guys was working, getting off of jams, getting in the zone, and it worked out good for us.
Nealon, congratulations. A great game today.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go upstairs now to Mark Lee.
Right you are, Peter, and we'll have the Eskimos again next Saturday on the CFL on CBC, an afternoon contest at 3 Eastern featuring Edmonton hosting the Saskatchewan Roughriders. A reminder, coming up on Hockey Night in Canada, Game 1 has the Leafs at the Saddle Dome to meet the Calgary Flames, followed by the Phoenix Coyotes at the Vancouver Canucks. Our Saturday night doubleheader, it all begins at 6:30 Eastern with Labatt Saturday night. Today, though, Green engineers 5 touchdowns, and the Eskimos prevail 48-28 in Toronto. Thanks for watching.
CBC Sports, Canada's Olympic Network.